Big problems on the backstretch. Jeff Gordon bumps Dale Jarrett, who goes around with Joe Nemechek. Then Jeff Burton gives Jeff Bodine a friendly tap. But the day belonged to Ernie Irvin. Less than 2 years after his near-fatal crash, Ernie and the team was back in victory lane again.
And Ernie Irvin also is on stage now, getting some pictures taken, and he won this race in 1996. It was only his 19th start after those devastating injuries at Michigan. That was a great, great deal. We were fortunate enough to be here to see Ernie take that first win after the injury, and he's getting up on the truck. We get a quick question with him here, and we caught up with you, Ernie. This place got to be special to you, dear to your heart, because you got your first win after the crash at Michigan here.
Yeah, I mean, it is. You know, I like this racetrack. I like the people here, the race fans, plus the promoter. He's a great guy, the Bears. You know, it brings a lot of memories back, and maybe we can luck into another one.
Okay, best of luck to you there, Ernie. Back to you, Eli.
Glenn, thanks a lot. You know, when you talk about the roots of NASCAR, obviously folks talk about the Deep South. Dick Bergman, for years, that's the way it was. Everybody was from the Deep South. Then over the last few years, we saw the Wisconsin influence, so many of the top drivers. Now, it's your part of the country up here in New England that's starting to bring in driver and crew chief talent both.
We waited a long time for this too, Eli, and I'll tell you what, this racetrack here, New Hampshire International Speedway, has played a big role in it. Bob Baer has brought in the Featherlight Modifieds and the Busch North cars, and it's given drivers and crew members alike an opportunity to hone their skills and be able to move on to the big time.
I think what folks also may not realize is that exclusive of this big racetrack here, you could go racing 2, 3, maybe even 4 times a week if you were given to up in this quadrant of the country.
Yeah, that's New England, New York State alike, New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Lots and lots of local racing in this part of the world. And that's a good way to learn your skill is practice, practice, practice.
Now, why don't we start talking about some of the names who have really made impact over the years? Of course, in the old days, you got Pete Hamilton and some of those fellas. But more recently, there are a good group of younger drivers and crew chiefs.
Oh, they are indeed. Frankie Stoddard, shown here, is from New Hampshire. He's a crew chief. Tommy Baldwin, crew chief from New York. Connecticut's Greg Zipadelli right there. A local boy made good at this racetrack. Steve Park from Long Island. And Vermont's Kevin LePage. And Pennsylvania's Jimmy Spencer.
So there you see just some of the names who have been talking about running here and doing well. Even a guy like Jerry Nadeau. A lot of folks may not realize that he considers this his home track as we see Dale Earnhardt Jr. being introduced. Jerry Nadeau from just up the road a piece in Danbury, Connecticut. And he says, I've run here on the road course and I feel I can do well here today. Just another one of those guys with confidence. Let's go downstairs now to Steve Burns.
Eli, Ricky Craven is from Maine. He had a great point about this racetrack. He said, you know, it was great for the race fans here, but it was also great for the racers because it let talent come to the forefront in the Winston Cup Garage. Hey, Ricky, tell us about what it meant to be able to have this racetrack here for the racers in this area.
Well, it's had a big impact for all the Northeast racers. I guess I'm an example of that, but ask Steve Park and Andy Santerre and on and on and on. Thank you, Bob Baer. Thank you, Baer family. It's been phenomenal.
All right, best of luck. Let's go to Ralph Shaheen.
You know, Steve, in May, Dale Earnhardt Jr. made his Winston Cup debut at Charlotte, finishing a respectable 16th, making his famous father very, very proud of him. He then uncorked 3 straight wins in the Busch Grand National Tour at Dover, South Boston, and the road course at Watkins Glen, New York. Now, Dale, last week at Milwaukee, you got hurt in the practice, but you soldiered on to finish 3rd. How are you feeling here today? Can you go the distance?
Yeah, I feel real good. Ain't gonna be no problem. Shoulder ain't giving me no problem. We just hope we got the car handling good enough to go to the front or at least hang around there till the end. It's a race of survival, so we just try to keep it together.
All right, best of luck to you in your 2nd ever NASCAR Winston Cup event. Eli?
And as we just mentioned, we saw Dale last week at Milwaukee. Dale Jr. is going to be with us again next weekend, next Saturday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. The NASCAR Busch Series is going to be running at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. And look at those numbers for Dale Earnhardt Jr. And folks, when you want to think about the significance of it all, 3 wins this season. They came in back-to-back-to-back events. Had he won yet another in a row, he would have tied the legendary Sam Ard, who himself had won 4 in a row in the NASCAR Busch Series. Another gentleman who says he might just be able to pull off a win here today is Michael Waltrip. Let's get his thoughts.
Okay, Eli, thanks very much. Michael just climbed inside the pickup truck. Michael, you got a great qualifying effort. How about today?
I'm so fast, I'm not even going to be able to stick around for the
The train left the station.
Well, leave it to Michael Waltrip to add a little bit something to the whole story. Let's bring you up to speed on what you may have already missed here this weekend. Yesterday here on TNN, as we've been talking about the Northern Stars, the NASCAR Busch North Series and the Featherlight Modified Tour ran their respective races here, with Tony Hirschman winning and Andy Santerre. There's one of the all-time great Northern heroes you just saw seconds ago. The legendary Ted Williams is here as our Grand Marshal. There he is, the splendid Splinter. And another legendary sports figure is here, Ralph Shaheen. And as a matter of fact, Ralph is in the midst of spending time with some of the folks down there near the pre-race stage, so we'll be getting back with him in just a bit. Obviously, there's one other major story we have not talked to you about yet here today, and that is the injury bug that has been befalling Mark Martin. You likely know the story. Injuries suffered last weekend at Daytona International Speedway. It has been a weekend and a week of pain and inconvenience. We'll talk injuries, an update with Mark Martin when we come back to New Hampshire International Speedway.
Pep Boys knows how to give you a great deal on tires. They don't run specials on just one size. Pep Boys discounts every size in stock. That means all 35,000-mile tires are 4 for $99. And all 70,000-mile tires are 4 for only $169. Even top-of-the-line 80,000-mile touring tires, all sizes 4 for $199. Call it a bonanza, an extravaganza. It's how you save on tires.
Pep Boys.
Cars like us.
People love us.
I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man.
If the technology in SuperGuard motor oil can protect these high-performance engines, imagine how it'll perform in your new Ford Taurus SHO. Visit our website, Citgo.com, and you could win a 1999 Ford Taurus SHO or one of 500 other valuable prizes when you play the SuperGuard Online 500 Racing Challenge. Register to win at Citgo.com.
I've been everywhere.
Hold on there. Lightning here's for big kids.
I got a Burger King Big Kids meal.
What's that?
It's got more food. You know, for big kids.
Well, I reckon he is a big kid.
You reckon?
I reckon.
Introducing the tasty new Burger King Big Kids meal. Now your kids can get more of the great tasting food they like, plus all the action and adventure of the new Wild Wild West movie. With Wild Wild West action toys like James West and his horse.
That's one smart horse.
You reckon?
When you have it your way, it just tastes better.
How would you like to call anyone across America for just 8 cents a minute? Well, now you can. Because when you dial 1010-321, it's just 8 cents a minute for calls over 10 minutes. All day, every day. You don't have to switch phone companies. Just dial 1010-321, then 1 and the number. At just 8 cents a minute, now you can stay even closer to the people you want to talk to the most. So remember, to get 8 cents a minute for calls over 10 minutes, just dial 1010-321.
NASCAR Winston Cup racing came to New Hampshire in July of 1993. Jeff Burton making his Winston Cup debut in car 0 spins on lap 2 with Ken Schrader. Rusty Wallace started 33rd but was on the move quickly. Dale Earnhardt spun going for the lead, and Wallace charged all the way to the checkered flag. Hey, folks, if you're looking for the ride of your lives, log on right now to today's TNNRacing.com. It's a live free webcast of the Jiffy Lube 300. You can ride along with your choice of in-car cameras. The Fan Scan Scanner Talk is available to you, and the Internet's hottest interactive multimedia racing features, all on TNNRacing.com, available to you right now. Now let's pick up the Mark Martin story. Injured at Daytona, a broken wrist, a chipped rib, and then knee surgery on Wednesday. The crew literally has to help him into and out of the race car. Buddy Baker, you drove with a broken leg back in the 1970s. What's Mark dealing with there?
The biggest thing he's dealing with right now, mentally, he has to black it out when the race starts. I can remember the biggest thing I had to do was position myself in the car where I did not feel the injury that I had. I made this makeshift brace, and I tell you what, I put my leg up in there and I pulled it back into high gear, threw my leg up in that brace, and I said, oh my God, I forgot it's gonna vibrate. It was like somebody taking their finger and going in your eyeball like that. Really hurt. I moved my leg around, finally got comfortable. I had a great car, so it wasn't tough after I got going. But boy, when I first started, I said, I'll never make it.
And like in any sport, you have to play hurt. Mark Martin told us earlier today in his team transporter that yes, he hurts, but he's ready to race.
I feel like I'll race fine. I just wish I was racing competitively, more competitively than what I am. This Valvoline Cummins team really deserves more, and I feel like I'm capable of more, but I guess that's the frustration, is not being able to get it, get to it, because, even though I'm in a lot of pain, I can drive the car. I just can't get the car to work.
And you know something? If we see Mark Martin in victory lane later today, how many of you folks are going to be surprised? The man is tough, and he could just grab the win and take it on to the house before this day is done. Our day is not done. The Jiffy Lube 300 is right here on TNN Motorsports, coming up next.
TNN, America's country home, is a service of CBS Cable. Tuesday on TNN, he was born to race cars.
Allison goes into the lead.
As a baby, he went to the track in his daddy's arms, where he picked up his first words.
He gave me a
Davey Allison represented the next generation in a family of champions. He had just begun to show what he was made of when the end came. The Life and Times of Davey Allison, Tuesday at 8 Eastern, part of TNN Hot Summer Nights Month.
Got a job that's too big for you to handle? There's no job too big for Maintenance Masters. Locally owned and operated for 11 years, Maintenance Masters Heavy Equipment Division has everything from backhoes, tractors, dump trucks, and front-end loaders to industrial parking lot sweeper. No matter how big the job, Maintenance Masters has the equipment to handle it all. Maintenance Masters. Quality you can see, performance you can count on.
Life is full of reasons to celebrate with TCBY frozen treats. Reaching a goal. A hard day at work. Life-changing moments. Because it's Tuesday. And another year in your birthday suit. Enjoy a TCBY Cappuccino Chiller, now only $2.19 at your TCBY shop. TCBY, it's time to celebrate.
The following is a special presentation of TNN Motorsports. It's time to fire the engines as the NASCAR Winston Cup Series drivers begin the second half of the 1999 championship campaign. It's the Jiffy Lube 300 shifting into high gear. The Jiffy Lube 300 is on the air on TNN Motorsports. A flyby as part of the pre-race activities here at New Hampshire International Speedway in the beautiful skies over Loudon. It's a magnificent day. Temperature in the 70s. A crowd exceeding 93,000 fans on hand for this, the start of the second half of the 1999 NASCAR Winston Cup season. So many stories to talk about, but one of the major stories is the injury bug. We've touched on it in the pre-race show, but it certainly is bearing to be repeated here today. Mark Martin hobbling Steve Burns, to say the very least.
Boy, Eli, you're exactly right. He got hurt in that practice accident at Daytona a week ago Friday. He has a hairline fracture of his left wrist. His ribs are banged up and sore. And just Wednesday night, he found out that he would have to have knee surgery. Arthroscopic surgery was performed on Wednesday evening. It takes 2 crew members to get Mark into the car. But you know, the worst thing is right now, he's frustrated and angry. He doesn't feel like he's 100%. And anytime Mark Martin climbs in a race car, he wants to go to the front. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Hey, thanks, Steve. The other story that we're talking about now concerns the Rouse camp also. Jeff Burton is the has won this race 2 times in a row now. He first won it in 1997. Tears of joy from his wife, Kim. Then he came back in 1998, and he absolutely dominated this event. Just beat these guys all to pieces. Now, he didn't first win in Winston Cup here. He won in 1992 in a Busch Series car, so he loves this racetrack. He doesn't know why he's so good on it. He just is, but he loves racing here. But if he's going to make it 3 in a row, today he's got to do it from way back. He starts 38, had to take another provisional. But let's look at some interesting figures here about Jeff Burton starting in the back. When he starts in the top 15, his average finish is 14.5. But when he starts outside the top 15, that average finish zooms all the way up to 4.7, excuse me. That is incredible. He has done it before. He did it last week at Daytona. He started 37th, finished 3rd. If he's going to do it again today, he's starting in that prime spot of 38th. He may be able to get back to the front once more from the rear. It's tough here at Loudon. There's a lot of traffic, not much room to pass. But if anybody can do it, Jeff Burton can. Here's Ralph Shaheen.
Well, Jeff Gordon has won the Bud Pole here at New Hampshire. Now, remember, this is the car and the driver that took on 2 tires at the end of a race just a couple of years ago to win this race. Will they do it here later on today? We're just going to have to wait and find out.
The fans arrived here early, and as kudos are due to the local police departments of Loudon and Canterbury and the state troopers. Highway 106 was clear of traffic by 11:40 this morning. Everybody's in their seats. We hope you're comfortable as well. We're back in a moment.
Hi, I'm Jeff Burton with an exciting message for NASCAR fans. Buy any Exide NASCAR Select product and get a Motorola pager free. It's a great way to enter the Exide NASCAR Select 99 sweepstakes. Every month you'll be paged with another chance to win cool prizes. You could even win $50,000 and be an honorary member of the Exide Racing Team Pit Crew for the first race of the next century. Look for details wherever Exide NASCAR Select is sold.
Holy man, I gotta find a phone.
He's got pride in his heart and dirt on his hands. There's one place to find a hard-working man. Ford Country, look at that truck. Ford Country, built Ford tough. Ford Country, when the work gets done. Ford Country, the whole world's Ford Country.
While there are a lot of places where people buy parts for their car, the fact is more people choose AutoZone than any other. It's because we're the largest auto parts retailer in America, and they save money with our everyday low price. It's because more often than not, we have the parts they need in stock. And it's because we're the only place where they'll find a battery that's backed by a 3-year free replacement guarantee. Which is why we say there's just no place better than AutoZone.
Rock and roll! We love you!
To keep your car rocking, protect your engine with Haviland Formula 3 motor oil. Add more life to your car. Get a free fender cover with case purchase of Haviland Formula 3 motor oil. See store for details.
TNN Motorsports live coverage from the New Hampshire International Speedway is brought to you today by Exide NASCAR Select, the official automotive battery of NASCAR. By Ford, the official truck of NASCAR is built Ford tough. By the more than 2,500 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. Welcome back to New Hampshire. Time now for the AutoZone race analysis, brought to you by the more than 2,500 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. You saw some of the numbers. There are the numbers pertaining to this racetrack. It truly is a grown-up Martinsville. 2 long drag strip-like straightaways, couple of very tight turns with limited banking. NASCAR racing has been here since 1990 for the NASCAR Busch Series. It's been a long time, and we've seen this racetrack grow up so very, very nicely. Buddy Baker joins us on the telecast. I'm Eli Gold. Glad you're alongside with us today. Buddy, what do we talk about first? Tire strategy, pit strategy, flat track, injuries. What's the biggest story here?
All of them. And when you're really thinking about this race, coming down to that last pit stop and doing the right thing, getting that track position, that is so important in this race. And everybody knows that they have to make the correct thing all day long. You have to have great track position. So it's very important to stay up front.
What I have found interesting, and Dick Bergman, I know you want to comment as well, guys like Bobby Hamilton really had trouble in practice. Then yesterday, final practice, they're running third fast. You got to get a hold of this racetrack.
Yeah, you do have to get a hold of this racetrack, and the thing that makes it especially difficult to do so is that this racetrack changes. Jeremy Mayfield maybe said it best when he explained that no matter what the racetrack is like at the beginning of this event, it will be different at the end. So you're going to see drivers search for the right line, crews trying tire strategies, adjusting their race cars as they search for the moving target that is the fast way around New Hampshire International.
And by the way, folks, who do you think is going to lead going into turn 1? Which Earnhardt? The daddy or the son? They're starting side by side, and that Budweiser car with Dale Earnhardt Jr., he's got one of our onboard cameras with you today. And by the way, if you want to see the onboard camera look or any of the scanner talk, TNNRacing.com. That's available to you right now on the World Wide Web. So log on, keep the dial right here, and we'll go racing together. Coming up next.
If you don't get AC Delco brand name parts, you'd better get a good brand name shoe. AC Delco. If you're not asking for it, you're asking for it.
No matter what you drive or what it needs, ask for dependable AC Delco automotive parts. They're the ones I rely on. AC Delco. If you're not asking for it, you're asking for it.
Ever since Mobil 1 came along, other oil companies have tried to copy it to make a synthetic of their own. But if you take a look at how a copycat performs after some hard miles and compare it to new Mobil 1, it's obvious that all synthetics aren't alike. Today's Mobil 1 is tri-synthetic. It won't sludge up on you. It'll actually make your engine run smoother. The other stuff, not in my car.
Nothing outperforms Mobil 1.
Pep Boys knows how to give you a great deal on tires. They don't run specials on just one size. Pep Boys discounts every size in stock. That means all 35,000-mile tires are 4 for $99. And all 70,000-mile tires are 4 for only $169. Even top-of-the-line 80,000-mile touring tires, all sizes 4 for $199. Call it a bonanza, an extravaganza. It's how you save on tires.
Pep Boys. Cars like us.
People love us.
This summer, if you can dream it up, Sonic can put it in a cup. We've got hundreds of drink flavors you can mix and match. Plus, our 44-ounce Route 44 big drinks. Enough choices to let your dreams run wild.
Sonic America's driving. When you combine Reese's Peanut Butter Cups and Crispy Wafers, the combination is irresistible. Reese Sticks. The crisp you can't resist.
A beautiful view from overhead the New Hampshire International Speedway. It measures just over 1 mile around, 1.058 miles to be exact. You see the crowd approaching 100,000, and it's been a spectacular weekend already, and we're glad to cap it off on a beautiful 70-degree day here in the Granite State. There is the man who won the Bud Pole. That is Jeff Gordon, 6th pole of the year, 2nd straight here at New Hampshire International Speedway. He stops on the track. He's tightening up the seat belts right now to make sure he's ready to go. Why don't we see who is lined up behind him in the starting lineup? Behind the Bud Pole winner Gordon, you've got Rusty Wallace, who won the inaugural race here back in 1993 for the Winston Cup teams. Bobby Labonte with 2 wins this year, and Ken Schrader, who's always in the top 5 here at New Hampshire. Kyle Petty, 3 8th-place finishes here, and Kenny Wallace, top 10 in both races in 1998. John Andretti, 3rd place the last time we raced here, and Michael Waltrip. Dale Jarrett, the Daytona winner, and Tony Stewart. And you know, guys, as we look at this starting lineup, every name we mention here, they all told me this morning, we can win, we can win. Everyone, we're going to have 40 guys in victory lane when this day is done.
I even walked down to Kenny Wallace's pits, and I said, how are you guys set up today? And they said, we have the fastest car here. Tony Stewart's group said, we have the fastest car. Everybody's flying around this racetrack.
There you see Mike Skinner, 5th place in last year's event here in July, and Ernie Irvin. Lloyd Burton, his best New Hampshire finish is 23rd. He's like to figure this place out a little bit. Kenny Irwin, he's gone to a different chassis, the Hopkins chassis, just like Dale Jarrett has.
Well, there are a bunch of people that have tried different things for this race, and it's going to be kind of fun to watch and see which one of these experiments is the one that works the best.
You see Benson and Bickle. Jimmy Spencer from Pennsylvania, and the veteran Dick Trickle. His car has got the Kodiak sponsorship on it here this weekend because when David Green failed to qualify, the Kodiak folks hopped on board Dick Trickle's car. Elliott Sadler, Dave Blaney's 2nd Winston Cup race of 1999 for Bill Davis Racing. The brothers Bodine, and now back at 37th and 38th, Mark Martin, 2nd place in both races last year. And of course, Jeff Burton, who won the last couple. Bill Elliott's going to have to go to the way back. He's already in 40th. He's going to have to start 43rd. He's gone to the backup car after wrecking the primary car here in 2nd round qualifying yesterday.
So many fast cars, so many drivers with a good track record here in New Hampshire starting in the back of the field today. It's going to be fun watching them come through.
Then there are these guys who'd love to be starting in the back of the field, but regretfully did not qualify at all. Derek Cope, David Green, Dave Marcus, and 2nd race in a row, Robert Presley, also failing to qualify. We've got a ton of folks giving us rides around New Hampshire today. There you see Bill Elliott, and again, he'll start. He was supposed to have a different paint scheme on the car, but when he wrecked that car, they couldn't paint up the backup, so he's in the familiar McDonald's car. There you see Jeff Burton, who'll give us the ride from 38th starting spot. Be interesting to see Mark Martin and see what he does, if he looks or acts any differently in the race car today. Dave Blaney, he was struggling on Friday, but got the car sorted out nicely and is solidly in the field. Kenny Irwin has the Texaco Haviland machine. Mike Skinner has the Lowe's car. Starting in 19th. Yep, Dale Earnhardt Jr. going to give us a ride around here. Goodness, he looks like some guy I know.
Open face helmet, just like that.
And Bobby Labonte has the Circuit City Interstate batteries on board camera. Now the Texaco Haviland point recap, brought to you by Texaco, a world of energy. That's how it looks going into the race. 177 points. You heard Jeff Gordon tell Steve, I believe it was earlier in the pre-race, 394. Yeah, mathematically you can catch up, and it's going to be awfully, awfully tough. You never know. We'll all find out together. Glad you're tuned in, folks, on TNN Motorsports. 300 laps, 317.4 miles in the Jiffy Lube 300. Green flag. Little bump and go there, middle of the field. as Jeff Gordon leads them to the stripe and will lead lap number 1. Jeff has now led all but one race in the history of New Hampshire International Speedway, and he is the all-time lap leader at this racetrack. He has led 475 laps coming in to today's Jiffy Lube 300.
You could see Rusty Wallace just a second ago going back and forth down the straightaway trying to get a little heat in these tires because the air pressure is very essential in these cars to make them work well. He was trying to scrub a little bit of heat into the tires so the air pressure would get up properly.
Dale Earnhardt in the 3. That's the scramble for 11th spot right now, along with the 55 of Kenny Wallace. Steve Park in the 1. Steve Park has the distinction of having run a race here in every single major NASCAR touring series, as you see the scramble for second place.
Rusty Wallace car right now is running a little bit higher than the Bobby Labonte car as they start off the corner there. You can see what a great grip, though, that Rusty Wallace got as he got back in the throttle.
Rusty Wallace has a win here and 7 top 10s in 8 races. As you see a couple of the young guns, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Steve Park swapping spots around. That is going to be up there at 11th spot right now.
Trouble.
Kenny Wallace and Sterling Marlin, they both got themselves held together. That was back in 14th and 15th position.
Sterling on the high side right now. You can see Skinner on the bottom side there. Just a little touch to let him know he's there.
Oh, Sterling's all over the place.
Kenny Wallace was lucky to save that thing. Yeah. He got it right out there.
Wally Dolly back in the 25 on the white part of the racetrack, going in and making some spots there.
And he bumps Ernie out of the way.
Hope that doesn't make Ernie too mad.
You know, that makes me wonder where they get the idea that racing is not a contact sport.
Yeah.
That's why they put bumpers on it.
Excuse me.
Look at that again. And Sterling Marlin with a touch there. And Terry Labonte sizing them up. And you know, so far that outside groove, at least at the moment, hanging tough there. It's not the desirable way around, but the guys seem to be getting a pretty good grip.
Riding with Ernie Irvin Jr. down the back straightaway, and just on the left there, Terry Labonte. And Sterling's still struggling on the high side of the racetrack.
A little early in the race to be upstairs. A little later on, they'll run higher, but right now that upstairs groove's not fully worked in yet. But is it just me or an awful lot of people being excessively aggressive early on?
Well, they're trying to get track position. We talked about that in the open. As you see, Kenny Irvin almost getting in the back of Sterling Marlin in the middle of 2, and you don't want to get touched there. The car is very light in the back there. If it had made contact there, Sterling would have went around.
That is 18th, 19th, and 20th on your screen. Riding with Kenny Irvin in the 20th spot.
Eli, the reason they're so aggressive, I didn't touch on it quite yet. They want to get up near the front. You see that, I mean, right now, Mark Martin's hanging on outside there, and he has to be in a little bit of pain right now. His knee's injured. He also broke a rib this week when he was coming in to take a plug check. A lot of contact there also. He was coming in the pit area. He shut the motor off, turned the power steering off. He turned hard left and cracked the rib on the right side.
Unbelievable. He goes by Darrell Waltrip. You saw the 66, that orange, blue, and white car going backwards. So Mark Martin is now in 38th spot. Jeff Burton is up to 35th position as we ride with Mark Martin.
And for those of you who wonder if Mark Martin can get it done while he's driving hurt, I will let you know that he indeed can. Back in 1980, when he was running in the ASA, he started a race at Milwaukee with 2 broken ankles and managed to win the race despite the pain that he was in. Second has just gone away.
So Bobby Labonte with John Andretti now behind him, and you see Rusty Wallace kind of caught to the outside there. Steve Burns, are they hearing anything on the radio from Mark?
Eli, just before the race started, Mark Martin radioed his team and said, guys, thanks for hanging in there with me through this. I'm frustrated about it. I want to be better. I think the car is better than me, but he apologized and thanked his team. He said, I'll be much better by Pocono, but as you guys said, he'll do everything he can to get to the front today.
Matt Kenseth is here as a backup standby driver, but Matt told me at the hotel, he said, I'll be surprised if I do any racing.
I would be too. Mark Martin's just a tough individual. He's in perfect health other than the injuries that he has. He works out every day, so if anybody can go with injuries, it's certainly Mark Martin.
just underway. We are 10 laps in. Jeff Gordon leads by 1 2/10 seconds here at New Hampshire International Speedway. As the Tony Stewart crew looks on, their driver is now 8th.
This is revolting.
What's the matter?
They're paying him for this.
Yeah, I think he's good.
Good? He can't even say the name of the product.
He can say it.
What are you talking about?
He's got a thick accent, you know,
Accent?
almost like European.
Hey, Ferret, let me hear you say Bud, nice and clear.
It sounded like Bud.
No, it sounded like...
I think your hearing's going, Louie.
Oh, right. Hey, Ferret, could you lay a little wise on us?
Smooth, like a pro.
Absolutely. What was I thinking?
If this house could talk, it wouldn't tell you about the custom cabinets in each Fleetwood home, but about Coco and heart-to-heart talks. And it wouldn't go on about our wall-to-wall warranty, but about kids growing 2 inches in a year. Because at Fleetwood, we know the quality that counts most in a home is the quality of life inside. Fleetwood Homes, quality for life. Call 1-800-350-2300 for a Fleetwood Homes retailer near you.
I've been everywhere, man, across the deserts bare, man.
If the technology in SuperGuard Motor Oil can protect these high-performance engines, imagine how it'll perform in your new Ford Taurus SHO. Visit our website, Citgo.com, and you could win a 1999 Ford Taurus SHO or one of 500 other valuable prizes when you play the SuperGuard Online 500 Racing Challenge. Register to win at Citgo.com.
I've been everywhere.
Lots of stresses. Motors are running hotter. Everything's fuel injected. Filters have got to be tougher. Oh, all these SUVs and trucks towing things.
Added pressure.
Oh, enormous pressure. Purelator test for hydrostatic burst, PSI load, impulse pressure fatigue, everything. Oh, but that's not enough. Every single Purelator filter is tested during production, too.
That's why I use Purelator filters on all my cars, even the race car. We've learned something from all this racing.
Pure oil now, pure oil later, Purelator.
Welcome back to New Hampshire. We want to take a moment to let everybody know that TNN Motorsports offers official NASCAR merchandise, including the latest die-cast cars and your favorite drivers. To order any of the outstanding NASCAR merchandise, just call toll-free 877-TNN-1999. So do give that number a call, and all the items can be yours. Hey, look who's running well. Kyle Petty all the way up to 4th, while we ride with Bobby Labonte right now in the 2nd spot.
Yeah, Bobby Labonte right now is a little bit quicker, but this is a story right now. The two Petty cars are running so very well right now. John Andretti, of course, in the 43 there. Just behind him, Kyle Petty having one of his best runs of the year.
John has gone from 7th spot where he started at 3rd position right now. He's having a great day. Both those cars are set up very similar, one to the other.
Meanwhile, the Earnhardt clan, Dale Earnhardt Jr. running in 12th. His daddy running in 15th. We're with Earnhardt Jr. now, closing in on Steve Park, doing a very solid job early. He is, Ralph Shaheen.
You know, Eli, I talked to Steve Neal, who heads up the research and development part of Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. I said, Steve, was that an introduction or an education for Dale Earnhardt Jr. on those opening couple laps? It was pretty wild out there. He started the lap. He said, yeah, one car wanted to go fast, one car wanted to go slow. He said, well, we got him straightened out and calmed down. Now we're going to pace him to the finish.
Thoughts on Dale Earnhardt Jr. There you see the scrambling elsewhere. Michael Waltrip in the 7, Ricky Craven in the 50. There you see 3rd and 4th now behind the leaders Gordon and Labonte. John Andretti 1 7/10 seconds back. That's what the interval looks like on the racetrack from Labonte back to Andretti. 1 7/10 seconds. 1,500-foot straightaway and hard on the brake pedal. Were you tough on the brakes when you drove, buddy?
Eli, I had a guy tell me you could put me on an anvil at 12 and I'd have it broke by 2.
So you would not have done well at New Hampshire, huh?
No, I actually won at Martinsville.
I know you did.
The reason I won there is they just absolutely detuned the car and told me I had to save the brakes or I would never win. As we have a change for the lead as Bobby Labonte takes over first.
So Bobby Labonte here at lap number 20 takes over the top spot from Jeff Gordon. There's a look back from Labonte towards Gordon.
Great camera angle there. That's actually under the rear of the car there, and you're looking back as Gordon comes in. Look how much lean you have in the springs on the right front of that car. Letting that weight transfer over over so it'll get a bite on that right front tire.
What a great year Bobby Labonte has had. This will be the 16th race he's led, and this is just the 18th race of the season so far. Certainly one of the best seasons he could ever even hope for.
Bobby Labonte has finished in the top 5 in 8 of the last 10 races, Glenn. So I guess we shouldn't be surprised he's running up front and leading.
Oh, no, Eli, and especially not in this car. The last time we saw this car on TNN was at Pocono. That's when he won the race up there. They love this race car. Bobby says it's one of his favorites. Not surprising at all. See that race car running up front. It is a good one.
Spread is 0.3 of a second right now. Though Gordon does seem to close, you see there coming off the corner, but Andretti and Kyle Petty are really closing on him.
Great run for these two cars that you're looking at right now. John Andretti in the 43 and the 44 there. Kyle Petty, both of them running exactly in the tire tracks of each other.
Now let's go a little further back because Kenny Schrader and Rusty Wallace having a good battle too. Schrader in the blue 33, the blue number 2 is Rusty, and the 20 is Tony Stewart. That's 5, 6, and 7th place on the screen.
Keep your eye on that number 20 car. Walking around the garage this morning, I asked many crew chiefs, who are you most concerned about? And the name I heard more than any other was Tony Stewart. A lot of the guys in the garage who are really in the know think that's the best car, and they think Tony Stewart is due to be a first-time winner today.
Although, as we heard on the pre-race, too, he totally discounts his IRL experience, other than, yeah, he's been around this racetrack, but the machines are so totally different.
Yeah, and he only ran 3 RL races here, and he led the most laps in all 3 and won one of them, blew up in another one while he was way out in front. I mean, this guy is terrific at New Hampshire, no matter what kind of car he's in.
And Ralph, Tony was not lacking any confidence in the garage this morning.
Eli, earlier in the week, Dale Earnhardt ran up into Tony Stewart's trailer trying to find what he calls the kid. The crew said, well, he's not here, Dale. He's at the rookie meeting. Earnhardt cracked that devilish grin of his and said, whose idea of a joke was it anyway to call this guy a rookie?
Hey, you remember when A.J. Foyt went to the rookie meeting at Darlington a number of years ago? You all look at that.
When you talk about a rookie, though, he just put Rusty Wallace away on the low side coming off turn 2 and really has quite a lead going here on Rusty in just one straightaway.
So there you see the separation now between Stewart and Wallace, while up front you've got Bobby Labonte showing the way by a half second on Jeff Gordon. Still early, 26 laps in. The crew waits for pit stop time.
There's something about a Wendy's Classic Double with cheese.
I'd have made the same choice.
But it's hamburger bliss.
Bosch Platinum Plus 4. Four electrodes. Pure platinum. Take your engine to a higher power. Bosch Platinum Plus 4.
Experience the sounds of NASCAR rocks. This summer, join CBS's NASCAR Hits the Road with concerts featuring today's hottest performers. Feel the rush of NASCAR rocks.
The Myrtle Beach 250, Saturday night on TNN.
What do you call a job that lets you experience a lot of work environments before you get to work? How about a good idea? In Battle Creek, call 962-8541, or in Kalamazoo, call 372-3330. Kelly Services.
welcome back to New Hampshire, where Bobby Labonte continues to lead, took over the top spot at lap number 20, and has now stretched his lead by roughly 7/10 of a second here in the early going. While we have an opportunity, want to say hello to this gentleman. Ted Williams has joined us as the Grand Marshal of the Jiffy Lube 300, one of the ultimate all-time greatest athletes in the history of this country. And I say that as a lifelong New York Yankee fan, but even we in Brooklyn and the Bronx appreciated what you did in your days of baseball playing. This is something, though, here today, isn't it?
You bet it is. You know, I've never been a auto racing buff. Never had the chance to be someplace. But today, I'm doing a quick conversion because those cars went down below me on their way the first lap, and I backed up and I thought, gee, this might be it. And, oh, this is exciting. This is really exciting.
I see that your name yesterday was on board Kenny White's car, the Kid as they call him up here, as a sponsor in Busch North Series competition. How did that come about?
Well, I know they're great cars, and I mean everybody's conscious of the fact that's a great group. Of course, they had a young rider in this, all this mix, and I didn't know whether how to wish him luck or be careful or what, you know. But I finally decided in my own mind, I just hope that I can see him on his 10th and 20th races after he's made a little bit of history.
Tony Stewart just moving up into 4th spot, as you see, while we visit with the splendid splinter Ted Williams. This is a magnificent week for sports in general here in New England. Not only is NASCAR in town, but of course Fenway Park hosts what I guess will likely be its final all-star game, with talk of a new Fenway Park around the corner. But this is a special time up here in New England.
Well, the whole week with the baseball fanfare, in my case, first time seeing this thrilling, exciting bit of sports, and I can just tell you that this is a full week for me.
Well, listen, it's great to have you here. I know the fish are biting at home, so enjoy yourself on the water as well. Ted Williams, thanks so much for being up here with us. The legendary Ted Williams, Baseball Hall of Famer. They don't get any better than this fella right here. And Buddy Baker, I know this is a guy who we have all thrilled in watching, and the ovation that Ted got today in pre-race activities rivaled the ovation that anybody got here at this racetrack.
You're exactly right, and race fans do appreciate people of all sports, and it's really nice to have you here.
Jeff Burton's moving forward. He's already managed to get himself in the 25th spot after having to start all the way back at a provisional starting spot for this race. They just flat missed the setup in qualifying. Worked on the car, threw a whole bunch of stuff at it today, hoping that they would get faster. They have.
You're exactly right. And Kenny Wallace looked in the mirror and said, "You're so much quicker than me, I'll just pull over and let you go until I adjust on my car." That's Hut Strickland in the 58 also going by Kenny as they go down in the corner.
New driver for that car, Hut Strickland is. There you see the NASCAR timing and scoring rundown brought to you by Napa. We keep America running. Steve, what are you hearing from the 99 bunch?
Eli crew chief Frankie Stoddard has been talking to Jeff Burton. And, you know, I guess patience is the hardest thing for a race car driver. But Frankie is telling Jeff Burton, take your time. You've got a good race car under you. Just take your time getting to the front. And as Jeff Burton said before the race, 300 laps doesn't sound like much, but it's a long time. So, again, Frankie trying to preach patience to Jeff Burton.
As we're riding with Jeff Burton, you can see he's fast in the corner. He pulls up on Ricky Rudd just in front there in the 10 car. And down the straightaway, all these cars are so evenly matched that it's very, very hard to get that preferred line unless Ricky really slips or he gets an idea that he's much quicker as he looks at Jeff in the mirror and lets him go. It's very hard to make the pass.
Let's remember how good Ricky Rudd is on the miles. Of his 20 wins, 8 of them have come on mile tracks. One of them here in 1994.
You wonder if this day is hot enough for Ricky, because he's really good when it gets hot and slick out there. And we're in the 70s. It may still be a day where Ricky can get to victory lane, but he loves those real slick tracks.
Exactly. And you talk about turning the heat up. Look at Bobby Labonte now as he moves up on Bill Elliott to put him a lap down this early in the event.
That's the 42nd place runner, Bill Elliott. And again, he was to have debuted a new paint scheme on the car, but when he wrecked his primary car yesterday in the second round of Bud Pole qualifying, they had to roll out the backup and just had no time to change the decals and the paint job. There you see Jeff Gordon. He is now 1 6/10 seconds back. Then John Andretti running in third in the number 43 car.
Look at Tony Stewart, the 20 car there. He is moving up through this crowd like they're waiting on him. This car is probably the quickest, without a doubt. I'm looking at right at the speeds around the racetrack. He is the fastest car on the speedway, and you can see why. It gets down in the corner right on the yellow line. When he picks the throttle up, this thing just flies down the straightaway.
And look at Andretti go. He'll grab second place.
Well, we promised some passing, and you're seeing it.
And we don't want to say we told you so, but,
yeah, but
Dale Earnhardt Jr. problems early. Only lap 42. Lap 42, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is in for an unscheduled stop.
He's got a little donut in the door.
And all the way down near the end of the pit lane is where he stops. Ralph, what's the deal?
Well, Eli, they brought the car in. They're going underneath the left side of the car, putting a jack stand out as well, looking just behind the left rear wheel. No word yet from the crew and the right rear as well to see what is going on. Dale Jr. is saying that it will not run it all down the straightaway, that he thinks it's binding up somewhere in the transmission is the way it feels to him. They're going to send him back out and try to find out what the situation is with the car.
I would have made him spin the wheels going down the pit road there just to see that both wheels were working properly. A lot of times you'll break a ratchet. It's positive traction rear end in these cars, and if you have some problem back there, if they don't smoke both tires, you know you have a problem in the gear.
There you see the spread from Labonte back 1.8 seconds to John Andretti. Tony Stewart in that orange number 20. He is running in third. Then Jeff Gordon and Kyle Petty. That is your top 5. There you see Gordon closing back in. He's 2.6 seconds back of Labonte right now. And again, Dale Earnhardt Jr. coming back in. Now what, Ralph?
Well, Eli Jr.'s been radioing in, saying that it's only turning about 7,000 RPM. Tony Eury Sr. just asked him, do you think it's the engine? He says, no, I'm not sure. He said, but it just feels like it's binding up. They're going to go under the hood now and check the spark plug wires. They don't see any smoke, so they're going to have to check inside the engine compartment now and see if a plug wire maybe has come loose or what the problem is. This is going to give them an opportunity to maybe put some gas in the car as well. They missed that on the last stop. Tony Eury Sr. was furious over that, because if they can keep running around, they can at least continue to put laps in and maybe get themselves in a better pit strategy.
Of course, they are already 4 laps down as the leaders go past the pit lane again. What should they be turning RPM-wise here, buddy?
Oh, they probably turn 9,000 in the straightaway here, and you need that much gear in it to slow down to get in these tight corners.
So when you're turning 7,000 RPM, you got yourself a problem. No problem, though, for Bobby Labonte's bunch. He's up comfortably in the early going of the Jiffy Lube 300.
Is there anything else? Only real things to do. Anything else I need except cold and you. No, there's nothing else that'll do besides Coca-Cola. There's only you.
Play Coca-Cola Red Hot Summer Days, and you can win great prizes all summer, including a new Ford Explorer XLT Sport. Drink in the summer. Drink Coca-Cola.
This dog can't tell the difference between a radiator hose and a bone. Other dogs, perhaps, but not this one. That's why at Advance Auto Parts, it's our job to carry over 1 million parts. So we'll always have the parts you need, just in case you run into this dog, or one like him.
Brought to you by LA West Luxury Vans. Available at select dealerships nationwide. Call for a free video, 800-786-VANS. Radio communications are provided by Racing Radios. For all of your radio communications needs, as well as scanners, call on Racing Radios at 1-800-669-1522. And by Featherlight, the official trailer of NASCAR, CART, IRL, NHRA, ASA, and World of Outlaws. Remember to call Featherlight for all your trailer and motor coach needs at 800-800-1230.
1,000 feet overhead, New Hampshire International Speedway. The Bud One airship is here. Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR. Always a fixture at NASCAR Winston Cup Series races. Just joining us, we're early in the Jiffy Lube 300. It began at roughly 1:15 Eastern time, and quickly the bumping began. Kenny Wallace, Sterling Marlin, they got together. But it wasn't enough. The little family feud, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and his dad with a little bump and go there. But after leading for 19 laps, it was Jeff Gordon yielding the lead to Bobby Labonte. That move on lap number 20, and Labonte has led for the last 32 revolutions around the New Hampshire International Speedway. Welcome back, everybody. As you see, Bobby Labonte on the green number 18. Beginning to close in now on the 97 of Chad Little. He's at 36th spot. He'll be going a lap down. Also Dave Blaney in 35th in that red, white, and blue Amoco car. He's about to go a lap down. And there's Tony Stewart just going into turn 1, taking the position from Andretti. So second place now for Tony Stewart. He has picked up 8 spots in the early going.
I know that Joe Gibbs has to be just delighted with his 2 cars, first and second in the race right now. Tony Stewart, you made a comment a while ago about him being a rookie. Well, he's a rookie, but he's a 3-time champion also in other divisions. So what he's doing out here is incredible, though, with the little bit of time he has in Western Cup cars.
And Bobby Labonte making the move around the lap machines. Watch this here. Last lap, Chad Little bumping Bobby Labonte out of the way.
Trying to stay on the lead lap.
Got to do all you can, but it didn't work. It did for a short while, but now Chad Little is back a lap down, as you see, with Dick Trickle in that white and aqua car. Also there in the picture very briefly. He's running in 37th spot right back there. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has taken his car to the garage area now. Steve Burns, can they fix it?
Let's find out, Eli. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has just climbed out of the car. Dale, are you done for the day? Can you get back in the race? What's wrong?
I don't know. We'll have to figure out what's wrong with it first before we know whether we can get back out there or not. Just running around there, running okay. We had a real tight car, and I was just trying to wait till we got some tires and make some changes. I figured maybe we had another 15th place or better with the car, and it just started tightening up. Something was tightening up in the car. Wouldn't turn with 7,000 RPMs down the straightaway. That's 2,000 less than we need to be turning. So something's wrong. I ain't gonna speculate what, but something in the drivetrain or maybe somewhere around in there is binding up and just killing the speed on the car. Ain't no point going right around. We might fix it, get out there and ride around. We might not. We got nothing to gain by getting back out there other than just valuable time and as far as the driver. But I will just have to see how good a mood Tony's in.
Tony, of course, being Tony Uri, who will have to orchestrate those repairs, whatever those repairs might need to be. We are 57 laps in to the 300. You see Ricky Rudd in the number 10 machine. He and Rich Bickle in that purple car, and then Ted Musgrave behind them in that green and yellow machine. They're running 27th, 28th, and 29th, respectively. I believe a lot of guys are going to be making some chassis tweaks when they come in here soon.
Well, that's the nature of this racetrack. It does move around on people and try to adjust that race car, dial it in. They do it with tire pressures and all sorts of stuff they can do on pit stops.
While we watch these guys, remember Rusty Wallace, there he is. He has dropped now back to 10th position, Glenn. He's gone from 6th to 8th to 10th. What's the story?
Eli, Rusty's car is very, very loose. They've been talking about it on the radio for the last 20 or 30 laps. Rusty keeps saying the car gets worse and worse. He at one point in time had fallen about 9.5 seconds back, but he's actually picked up a little time here recently. I think Bobby Labonte has slowed down just a little bit, but Rusty's car is very loose, and he is one of those guys that will make a major change whenever that first pit stop rolls along here in the next 20 or 30 laps.
That is PC11, the car that Rusty is driving. It's only raced at Martinsville, where it started 5th led the most laps and finished 7th, as Ted Musgrave in the 75 tries and grab 28th away from Ricky Rudd.
Ricky right now can't keep his car down. He's losing quite a few positions. Rich Bickle passed him about 3 laps ago and now has almost half a straightaway on him.
Johnny Benson in the 26 spun his car in morning practice on Friday, but no problems otherwise. Been a very incident-free weekend, actually. All the way from that battle, we move up front to the lead, where Bobby Labonte has 3/10 of a second on Tony Stewart, as Stewart works traffic inside of Rick Mast's machine. It looked as though Labonte was getting hung up behind the Jeremy Mayfield car right there, the number 12.
Well, they're all fighting to stay in the lead lap if they possibly can, but Tony Stewart is just gaining on Bobby Labonte every lap around the racetrack, even though there is traffic, the same amount of traffic as Tony Stewart. I think Tony has the quicker car right now. It's down to 2 car lengths as they go through turn 3.
33rd place, going a lap down right there. That's Jeremy Mayfield. And Ralph, I don't know how much you can see from the pits, but there's no doubt Tony Stewart's got the quickest car.
He is absolutely flying, Eli. Of course, our view is just a front straightaway, but I've been up on the pit box talking to Greg Zippadelli, his crew chief. I asked him how the car is handling. He said just a little bit tight, but pretty happy with it. Then I asked him how similar is the setup between Tony's and Bobby Labonte, his teammate and race leader. He said extremely different.
And of course, driving styles are different, so that's not necessarily unusual. You saw Jeffrey Bodine going a lap down, and there goes Stewart outside. Power move, give him the lead. Lap number 64, the 8th race of the year that Tony Stewart has led. And remember, folks, he led the most laps back at Dover. He led 127 here on TNN. That was a big-time move, and look at him pull away.
It was that, and it's nice to have a teammate that you have radio communication with. They know the 20 cars a little bit quicker right now. Bobby Labonte just pulled over and said, go at it.
So Tony Stewart is the 3rd different leader of the Jiffy Lube 300. Greg Zippadelli says, way to go, my friend.
Honey!
Bill!
Think we need a new ceiling fan?
Lowe's knows how to help.
With hundreds of fashionable top-quality fans.
Including the new 1999 models from names like Hunter and Harbor Breeze.
We can even have your fan installed for you.
So with Lowe's guaranteed everyday low prices, making your room beautiful is a breeze. When it comes to ceiling fans, Lowe's knows.
All across America, we're there to see you through. We're more than just an oil change, a name of Jiffy Lube.
Racing is hard on cars. Always has been. So is everyday city driving. Jiffy Lube makes it easy to take care of your car, and they offer Pennzoil. Just drive in, drive out, drive on.
We're more than just an oil change, a name of Jiffy Lube. Drive in, drive out, drive on.
Choosing a personal watercraft can be a real test, but Rusty Wallace knows just what he wants. Polaris, when you know what you want. See your local dealer for big savings on select models.
How would you like to call anyone across America for just 8 cents a minute? Well, now you can. Because when you dial 1010-321, it's just 8 cents a minute for calls over 10 minutes. All day, every day. You don't have to switch phone companies. Just dial 1010-321, then 1 and the number. At just 8 cents a minute, now you can stay even closer to the people you want to talk to the most. So remember, to get 8 cents a minute for calls over 10 minutes, just dial 1010-321.
Left turn signal. Right turn signal. Headlights. All right, move it out.
It's 2 nights of World of Outlaws Racing on TNN. Welcome back, everybody. Tony Stewart, by 7/10 of a second, leads the Jiffy Lube 300 here at New Hampshire International Speedway. That is 28th place Sterling Marlin, who just now went a lap down. And that's one of the byproducts of caution-free, and we're almost a third of the way into this race, folks. It has flown right by. You don't have cautions. You got a couple of guys hooked up like Stewart and Labonte are. You're going to put half the field a lap down as Jeffrey Bodine comes in for a stop. Jeffrey was lapped a short while ago. He's running 32nd right now. So he decides to come on in at lap number 71 and not go any further back, make the chassis repairs and changes, new tires, and try and get the Power Team Chevy back in gear. So the Joe Bessie-owned entry back on the racetrack as Tony Stewart begins to close in on Ted Musgrave, who's running in 27th spot. Sterling Marlin making a pit stop now, lap number 72. So a lot of these fellows, as they have gone a lap down, electing to make their pit stops.
That's smart. What they're trying to do is put fresh rubber on there, maybe to build up a little bit of advantage. And if they had another caution, they would have those fresh tires on there to run as fast as they possibly can for a certain amount of time before they make the next stop.
NASCAR official Jim Ball looking over that tire change. Jerry Nadeau, who had high hopes of running well here today, he goes a lap down in the number 9 car, running in 27th position.
He's raced a lot in this area. He's a graduate of Fonda Speedway and Lebanon Valley and the London Waterford Speed Bowl, racetracks that are very familiar to many of the folks sitting in the grandstands here today at New Hampshire.
Nadeau won 3 events here at the Skip Barber Pro Series. Now Jeff Burton, where is he? Well, he has already worked himself up towards 17th position. Look at that. He, Musgrave, Hutch Strickland has moved up, and old Bobby Hamilton picking up 16 spots.
But you know, it's no surprise to see Burton moving forward. He passes race cars. Last time, Pepsi at Daytona, 37th to 3rd. His race in Vegas, where he went 19th to 1st. He's been passing cars all year long.
There you see Jeff Gordon now, having caught John Andretti, the 24 Gordon, the 43 Andretti, around Ricky Rudd. And that is the battle between Andretti and Gordon for 3rd spot.
Yeah, Gordon has a great car. It's just not as great as the first 2 places up in front of him up there. And you see he ran down the John Andretti car. He's much quicker in this part of the racetrack. You can see him close up, getting in. But coming off the corner, the 43 car of John Andretti has great drive forward.
Jeremy Mayfield pitting at lap number 75. There you see him. You also see Gordon make the move around John Andretti, grabbing 3rd spot. So Jeff Gordon now moving back up, having won both of the runnings of the CMT 300, the September race here. He's won the last couple of those.
Oh, trouble on the front straightaway.
Joe Nemechek here on the main straightaway, just as Rick Mast made a stop at lap 77. Nemechek running in 21st position brings out the first caution flag of the day, lap number 77. It is a timely caution for the leaders who have not made their pit stops and were likely due before too much longer.
John Andretti has a lot of damage. You see these guys here fighting to stay on the lead lap. Ted Musgrave got back in the lead lap there as we go along.
And there you see Nemechek with a good bit of right front, right rear damage on the Bell South Chevy. I'll tell you, still to this day, one of the most thrilling races that this track had ever seen was that NASCAR Busch Series race when Dale Earnhardt and Nemechek got together, and they were beating and banging and all, and everybody was standing and hooping and hollering, and it was quite a finish.
1992 was an incredible day.
Boy, this is not going to be an incredible day for him today, though. The right front wheel is really bent in on this car. They're going to have to work on it quite a bit to get him back out there.
Too bad for Joe Nemechek, who made his NASCAR Winston Cup debut here at New Hampshire back in 1993.
Here they come.
All right, here come now the leaders. It'll be lap number 79 when they take the lap on pit road. Of course, the start-finish line extends technically all the way across the racetrack, so the lap count does click off, even with those teams on the pit lane. Stewart, Labonte, Jeff Gordon in on our triple split look at pit road. And look at it on the right. Look at that activity up and down pit lane.
A lot of the cars that were almost a lap down are making major changes on the chassis now, trying to get all the weight and balance back into the car to make it handle through the corners.
Look at all those crew guys work. It looks like little red ants in the lawn.
Boy, that was tight coming out.
Dale Earnhardt, Steve Park, his own car, they almost made contact going out of pit road.
All the leaders into pit at lap number 79. Now those who are at least a lap down will be coming in. Tire specialists at work in New Hampshire.
Good morning, Mr. Clark.
Morning, Tommy.
Good morning, Mr. Clark.
Morning, Tommy.
Good morning, Mr. Clark.
Morning, Tommy.
Amazing. That car never ages.
To help keep your car young, protect your engine with Haviland Formula 3 motor oil. Add more life to your car. Get a free fender cover with case purchase of Haviland Formula 3 motor oil. See store for details.
You know, Kenny and I never compare statistics or Super Bowls. That way we can drink our Miller Lights without arguing. Right, Mr. Fewer career touchdown passes than me?
Right, Mr. Never Been to the Big One.
We only talk about why Miller Lite tastes great.
It's the choice hops.
No, Snake. Miller Lite tastes great because it's smooth. But let's not fight.
Yeah, you're right. Let's be friends.
Table ready for Mr. I don't have as many passing yards as Dan Fouts?
Hey, that's you.
Miller Lite. Taste the true Pilsner.
Napa application engineered brakes can stop you 20 feet shorter than ordinary brakes. That's important. Because you can't always count on there being 20 extra feet of road when you need it. Napa, over 200,000 parts, and every one's important.
When the male is in pursuit of the female, the slightest scent of unpleasantness may send the female running. Thus, I recommend Right Guard Clear Gel or Clear Stick. Powerful protection from ferocious odor and wetness that glides on clear with no flaky white stuff.
How far's the female?
A good 70 yards, mate. I've made longer passes than that before. Right Guard, Clear Gel, and Clear Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Jiffy Lube 300 is being brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. Napa, we keep America running. And by Gillette Right Guard Stick and Clear Gel. Welcome back, everybody. We are back at New Hampshire International Speedway. Jeff Gordon is the race leader, having taken the lead off the pit lane. Why are we under caution? It's for this spin.
John Nemechek loses it right at the start-finish line, backs her into the fence, bending up the right side of his race car.
Boy, and Mark Martin just did get by there, and he is injured, so he didn't want to get caught up in that wreck. He just squeezed by.
Glenn Jarrett has seen his brother come into the pit lane lately a couple of times. Dale's been in for unscheduled stops. We'll update that story for you in just a moment or so. And folks, by the way, you can enter the TNN Rev It Up sweepstakes and be a winner. Just tell us who's leading at the halfway point in today's race, and you can win one of 8 grand prize trips to a NASCAR Winston Cup Series race. And that's not all. You'll meet and greet some of the Advance Auto Parts All-Stars like Terry Labonte, Jeff Gordon, and Wally Dallenbach. It's easy. Just go to your local participating Advance Auto Parts store for an official entry form, or send your name, age, address, phone number, and the answer on a postcard to the TNN Rev It Up Sweepstakes, TNN Station, Post Office Box 3582, Southbury, Connecticut 06488. Or if you'd like, you can enter online at country.com. And the entry deadline for trips to the New Hampshire 300 and the MBNA Gold 400 at Dover, that deadline is August the 29th.
You can see they have all the fender fixed there on the 88. No problem anymore for our points leader.
He had the fender caved in on the Goodyear tire, but they've gotten that taken care of. And here we go back to green.
Tony Stewart, don't do it. Now you talk about bravery, folks. That's one right there. The bear hunting with the switch. Tony Stewart, I've watched him in midget sprint cars, you name it, and he has to be the bravest young man I've ever watched in a race car of any kind.
As close to a natural as we've seen in a long time. He and Jeff Gordon, the late Tim Richmond, a few others are just naturals.
And it's one thing to be brave, it's another to get the job done. I mean, this guy will stick his nose into a place that you think there's no way that anybody could possibly do that. You say, what courage? And then all of a sudden, he comes out with the spot, and the car is unbent.
I wouldn't say that too quick. He stuck that nose right up under the 24, Jeff Gordon, as we were talking.
Hey, this guy's a rookie. We're halfway into the season. He doesn't have a DNF this year.
Look at this battle back in the field here, Eli. They're going at it wheel to wheel.
Mike Skinner in the mix of that. That's 10th, 11th spot. Riding with Mike Skinner right now. He's got Steve Park ahead of him. The lapped machine. Chad Little, that John Deere green and yellow entry you see on the right. Look how he skates it, but he gets somewhat out of that groove.
And all of them are waiting for the air pressure to build up in these tires to get exactly the Hamlin package that you want as Mike Skinner moves to the inside of Steve Park going into turn 3.
Now with Kenny Irwin inside of Jerry Nadeau. Kenny went a lap down earlier. He's running in 28th spot.
A lot of conversation again about whether Kenny Irwin is going to be able to hang on to that ride again for the year 2000 season. It just seems to crop up every few weeks. Will Irwin keep his ride? And those conversations are going on again.
Ward Burton working inside of Wally Dallenbach, and you've heard so many different names in the rumor mill. Little contact
Jeff
there.
Burton makes contact there with Wally Dallenbach in the red car on the outside there. He's just following his brother up through there, but there's a lot of contact going on.
That's 12th and 13th. They're running for position. Dallenbach and Burton are.
Dallenbach's running a very aggressive race today. He's tough.
Jerry Nadeau in the 9 on the outside there, the yellow car. Bobby Labonte now has gotten by Tony Stewart.
And Gordon pulling away just a little bit. 5/10.
And 3 Pontiacs in your picture. Pontiacs have been running up front all day today.
You know, you're watching something right now. There have probably been some changes made on some of these cars, and you can see Tony Stewart right now. I don't know whether the air pressure's down a little bit on his car right now, and it's not handling the suiting. Looks like the left rear is very low in air pressure on that car right now, and it does not seem to be working like it was before he made his pit stop.
How much will these guys compromise? How much air pressure will they run low, waiting for it to build up?
Well, what you do, you start off, they'll build up 7, 10, and even 12 pounds a lot of times, depending on the tire itself. If it's the right front, of course, it takes more abuse and it builds up more than, say, the left front that does not have a lot of pressure on it.
89 laps on the board right now. Tony Stewart running in 4th. Jeff Gordon is the race leader. He has 1 8/10 seconds on Stewart. Mid stages of the Jiffy Lube 300.
Maybe these will help.
Sunglasses?
Like the ones Jim West wears in that new Wild Wild West movie.
Now at Burger King, you can get your own pair of Wild Wild West sunglasses from the new action-packed movie for just $1.99 with any tasty Western Whopper value meal.
Who's Jim West? I don't know. What's a movie?
When you have it your way, it just tastes better.
In the racing business, the right hardware at the right time can make the difference between winning and losing.
Get the toolbox that rocks at True Value. It's just $24.95 when you spend $20 or more on your Visa card at participating True Value hardware stores.
Your True Value is the official hardware store of NASCAR, IROC, and homes everywhere.
Davey Allison represented the next generation in a family of racing champions.
Allison goes into the lead.
His end came all too soon. The Life and Times of Davey Allison, Tuesday, part of TNN Hot Summer Nights Month.
'Twas a crisp spring evening, and I was out surveying the countryside when I was lured into the fox's den by the succulent aroma of a freshly prepared feast. I salivated at the sight of freshly baked pizzas, hoagies, wedges, stromboli, and more. The fox gestured for me to dine with him, and when we could eat no more, he wiped his whiskers and spoke these words I shall never forget.
Boy, that's good.
Yes, I remember it well.
Now get a large pizza with all the toppings you want for just $9.99 in participating Fox's Pizza Dens.
Fox's Pizza Den, boy, that's good.
Got a job that's too big for you to handle? There's no job too big for Maintenance Masters. Locally owned and operated for 11 years, Maintenance Masters Heavy Equipment Division has everything from backhoes, tractors, dump trucks, and front-end loaders to industrial parking lot sweeper. No matter how big the job, Maintenance Masters has the equipment to handle it all. Maintenance Masters. Quality you can see, performance you can count on.
Welcome back, everybody, as we continue from New Hampshire International Speedway. TNN Motorsports Live with the Jiffy Lube 300. You're riding with Bobby Labonte. He is that distance down to the race leader, Jeff Gordon. It's about 0.3 of a second on the clock, about 6-8 car lengths at most. Looking rearward towards third place, that's John Andretti. He is 0.8 of a second behind Jeff Gordon. So the first, second, and third place runners, as you see right there, almost evenly spaced, one to the next, working through turns 3 and 4. We talked about Dale Jarrett before. There he is. He made a couple of pit stops at lap 80 and lap 81. And Ralph, when he restarted in 23rd, he's now picked up only a couple of spots, and he had that sheet metal problem. What's going on?
Well, Eli, the sheet metal came from contact down on pit road. He's pitted right behind Michael Waltrip's number 7. They made contact trying to exit the pit, and it bent in the left front fender of the car, the 88, a little bit. So they had to bring him back in. Brad Parrott had to use a handheld roller to get it wedged up underneath between the tire and the fender. They roll the car forward and back a little bit. That helps push the sheet metal away from that tire so he can have enough space for the tire to move in there properly. Now, the 20 car of Tony Stewart, they made an air pressure adjustment on that machine. He was a little bit tight, so they loosened him up a little bit with a slight air pressure adjustment. Greg Zipadelli's been on the radio working back and forth with Tony. Tell him just hang in there, wait for it to come back around to you. Remember, we've been doing about 80 laps.
Trouble. Jerry Nadeau spins in turn number 2. The leader has taken the caution. We are under yellow. Lap number 98, second time today for the yellow to fly as Jerry Nadeau spins in turns 1 and 2.
And Mark Martin is just behind every one of these wrecks today. He's been very lucky to skim by.
Next time that car or any car comes out on you like that.
And Jerry Nadeau's radio, which was propitiously, I believe, cut off just in time so as to not offend impressionable young ears such as mine. But Jerry Nadeau, you know, his career best finish was 8th at Talladega back in May. And he, as a native of Danbury, Connecticut, continues to call this his home racetrack. And he was hoping for a super run today, but may not be. But Jeff Gordon is still showing the way. A lot of guys still in the hunt, a third of the way in.
Okay, subcompact over here. Yeah. Bring that little honey right here. Just ease that little baby in. Tons of room. Now give her some gas.
Warning, objects may appear smaller once you've tried our burgers. Denny's Colossal Major League Burgers. Good food and lots of it, starting at $3.99.
Perfect.
My, what big portions we have.
Crew set. Everybody's ready. Let's go.
Here it goes. Let's hit it.
He was not the issue. Further up the field, there is Helio Castroneves. He gets onto the grass, loses it, and as the field charges into turn 1, he takes several cars out with him. The good news is we have seen all of those drivers out and standing. As they went downhill toward the second turn, this is Cristiano D'Amata. Now, he's coming downhill, and watch what happens to him.
He's through turn 1 cleanly on the inside. Gets a little sideways coming off, but watch what happens as he enters turn 3. Looks like he had some contact with Brian Hurt on the left side of the screen there. Turned the car sideways and put him back into the gravel trap.
And that, of course. Welcome back, everybody. Pit stops are the name of the game for some of the teams, many that have gone a lap down early. Forefront, you see the Jerry Nadeau car, and there you see others who are making their pit stops now. Why are we under caution? Well, it wasn't just because of Jerry Nadeau. See what the replay shows us.
Riding with Mark Martin down into turn 1, just in front. Kenny Wallace. Watch him get in the back of Nadeau. Nadeau spins around. Now watch Mark Martin. Incredible. He misses. He goes very high on the racetrack, accelerates off turn 2.
Reflexes when you're not feeling well, that's something special right there. Joe Nemechek in the garage area. Steve, can they get back in?
Let's find out, Eli. Joe, you had a good start, but you've been in the garage for many laps. Can you get back out?
Oh, we'll get back out. You know, the guys are working hard to get our Bell-South Chevy fixed back up. Don't really know what happened there. I know Mark was right on my tail there at the end, and it got loose, and I just couldn't ever get it back. I was always behind, and I didn't think I was going to hit the wall, but we did. Just a tough day. I mean, we had a decent car. We just needed that first pit stop to loosen it up a little bit, and we would have been all right.
That's Joe Nemechek. Folks, check out NASCAR online if you'd like, before, during, or after the races, anytime during the week. NASCAR Online is your 24-hour NASCAR Garage Pass, and we'll be doing a chat session with NASCAR Online when this race is over today, about 30 minutes after we wrap up. Also, you can stop by any NASCAR Thunder store location right now and pick up your free Thunder Club card, which gives our preferred customers discounts on future purchases. And don't forget to check out the new NASCAR Thunder website on country.com, or go to NASCARthunder.com for the latest NASCAR merchandise that's hot off the track. Restart lap 103. Jeff Gordon leads the Jiffy Lube 300.
Jeremy Mayfield in that number 12 car is a couple of laps down. He had pitted just before the caution flag.
Riding with Dave Blaney. Second start of the year.
Ward Burton on the outside in the 22 as they come off turn 4. Look at the crowd they have here today, as you see the 21 car, the Wood Brother car, going down in the corner there.
Elliott Sadler in 31st. He's a lap down. Wally Donald back on the outside. He's in 11th. Oh! You want to use a telestrator on that, buddy?
No.
Wally said, coming through, and thanks for the room.
Yeah.
You're talking about this place being full, buddy. Let me tell you what, a ticket to the New Hampshire International Speedway Winston Cup races is about the toughest ticket that there is in all of New England. The races are traditionally sold out, and boy, I'll tell you, you can get yourself a lot of bribery done if you've got a couple extra tickets to one of these deals.
Hey, yesterday, the Busch North and Modified doubleheader was sold out. They didn't open all the grandstand seats. They did not open the turn 3 and 4 grandstand, but everything else, the folks were shoehorned in here.
Those are some of the best races you're going to see anywhere. The modifieds in particular are just terrific on this racetrack.
Eli, I was talking about Tony Stewart a while ago and how he was doing on the racetrack. His car is set up for long runs. I know they made some tire adjustments on the car. Doctor and I were looking at the left rear tire, and it looked like it's compressed way down, but all of them are. He's making a run now towards the front again, and I think as we go along, you'll see Tony Stewart catching the leader again.
There's the front 3. The separation is 1 6/10 seconds. You see NASCAR timing and scoring brought to you in the upper left of your screen by MCI OnNet, your one connection to the world. Dale Jarrett in 18th spot, car number 88, right there in the middle of the screen.
Now, he has to show a lot of patience right now. He has one of the quickest cars on the racetrack. You can see the back of the car jump out just a little bit. He got back in that power of that car. I told him this morning when they set the timing on that car, I said, I thought I heard it popping. They said, that's just raw power trying to get out of that thing.
Well, he's doing big picture racing, no question about that. He was running in 5th spot and did the pit stops, had the problem with the left front fender, had to go back in again, came out in 23rd spot, lost a whole bunch of positions. He has got to be sure that as he works his way through traffic, he does no more damage to that race car. Top 5s are going to win a championship, and that's what he's looking for, the 1999 Winston Cup Championship.
See See how Rich Bickle has progressed, though Jarrett blows right by him. Jarrett with a 177-point lead atop the NASCAR Winston Cup standings. Riding with Bill Elliott now, looking back towards Dale Jarrett. Bill Elliott going a lap down early. Just joining us, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the garage. So too Joe Nemechek. Both crews still working on those race cars. They are not out of the event officially. Jarrett right there is 7.5 seconds behind the leader, Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, and you can see the car working extremely well. But, you know, with that much race car, when you get back in the pack, you have to be the caliber driver that Dale Jarrett is, not to go up there and maybe run in the back of a car because he won't get out of your way. They have a right to be out there, and he knows that. He'll use his time, move by on the straightaways, and do everything he can to get back up front and get track position again.
If you're curious about the injured Mark Martin, he is in 21st position right now, where we get a look at Mark Martin. He's 10.5 seconds behind Jeff Gordon. How's he feeling?
Well, Eli, the good news is, I've talked to the crew, the good news is that he feels pretty good. He's not complaining of any pain, which is amazing. But the bad news is he's fighting a loose race car right now. So, again, he feels okay, but the car is fighting, or he is fighting, a loose race car.
If you're a Joe Nemechek fan, he's back on the track 33 laps now. They have just wrapped up the repairs.
Yeah, somebody's got into the back of Mark Martin's car. This is the camera takes a good picture of the blimp, but that's about all you can see out of it there, as it looks skyward as it's been turned up because somebody else has got into the back of the Jarrett car.
Yep, somebody gave the old camera a shot there. Back up front, Bobby Labonte's closing in on Gordon.
Boy, sitting right there talking about Mark Martin, they call it a Jarrett car. I'm up to speed, huh?
Believe it or not, we're all human. I read that somewhere.
Look at this,
Here
Jay,
we go for the lead. Bobby Labonte. He had the lead from lap 20 through 63, and he'll reassume it here and bring Andretti along with him in the second.
Hey, John is having a terrific day today, isn't he? He has run up front all day long with Richard Petty's car.
So Andretti very much in the hunt, but Glenn, Bobby Labonte just blew by them all.
Yeah, Eli, I've been watching Bobby the last few laps, and when they made their pit stop around lap 80, the car had gotten a little loose. They were pretty concerned about it. They did put one round of bite in the car and tightened him up. Jimmy Maycar said the car should be good to go then and should be a little better on a long run. That's why he had let Tony Stewart get by him to begin with at the end of that run. The car had gotten a little loose. It's perfect now.
Problems, caution, big problems. Turn 2, Martin is there. Kenny Irwin is there. Steve Park is there.
And amazingly, everybody is back under power and moving away again.
At one point, there were about 6 or 7 cars going in all sorts of directions off the number 2 corner. And we are under caution, lap number 114. Caution for the 3rd time today. We'll come back with replays and sort out exactly what took place. Bobby Labonte still leads the Jiffy Lube 300 under yellow here on TNN Motorsports.
This summer, if you can dream it up, Sonic can put it in a cup. We've got hundreds of drink flavors you can mix and match. Plus, our 44-ounce Route 44 big drinks. Enough choices to let your dreams run wild.
Sonic America's driving.
Pep Boys knows how to give you a great deal on tires. They don't run specials on just one size. Pep Boys discounts every size in stock. That means all 35,000-mile tires are 4 for $99. And all 70,000-mile tires are 4 for only $169. Even top-of-the-line 80,000-mile touring tires, all sizes 4 for $199. Call it a bonanza, an extravaganza. It's how you save on tires.
Pep Boys. Cars like us.
People love us.
This is a sport that brings families together. Most of the time, anyway.
You're mine today, buddy. That rooster's crowing a little early this morning, isn't it?
This is a sport where the hearts race every bit as fast as the cars. And this is a sport where some of its biggest fans are some of its smallest. This is NASCAR.
Why are there so many Hershey's Kisses in every bag? Because they go really fast. Little Hershey's Kisses, big chocolate taste.
In the racing business, the right hardware at the right time can make the difference between winning and losing.
Get the toolbox that rocks at True Value. It's just $24.95 when you spend $20 or more on your Visa card at participating True Value hardware stores.
Your True Value is the official hardware store of NASCAR, IROC, and homes everywhere.
It's the most dangerous 8 seconds on television. Hang on. It's championship bull riding from Tunica, Mississippi. Tonight at 9 Eastern and Pacific on TNN.
Welcome back, everybody. We are under caution here, and that man is the race leader. That is Dale Jarrett, who did not pit when everybody else on the lead lap came in at lap 115. Why are we under caution? Watch this.
Oh, Mark Martin got hit from behind by Ernie Irvin Jr.
Well, he dodged the first 2 crashes, couldn't dodge that one.
Watch it again here.
Oh,
there's the reason.
Rich Bickle.
Bickle got sideways. Martin checked up, and that's when Irwin tagged him. Not Kenny's fault, really. And look at guys going through the Tulies. See what Dave Blaney saw.
Watch Ernie Irvin here. He just makes a hard left that goes right by.
Steve Martin spins. Now, all the leaders but Dale Jarrett elected to make pit stops. This is taped from moments ago when all the lead lap cars came in at lap 115, with the exception of Jarrett, who takes over the lead at that stage of the day. Now, you see Gordon, of those who pitted, did get the lead of those who made the stop, and I guess most important now to Jarrett is those 5 bonus points.
Exactly right. He's now led a lap and got those bonus points, and they're so important.
All right, we're going back to green now.
All the way. Be ready. Green is green. Go.
Bill Elliott tried to get one of his laps back, couldn't do it in the McDonald's car.
Looked like everybody took just right side tires. This will be a good opportunity for him to test whether 2 tires will get the job done.
Yeah, remember the 2 tire story here a year ago, Tiregate?
Yeah.
Now let's don't go there.
I think Ray Evernham and Jack Roush remember it as well.
That's where folks went into the pit lane, and now they came out. And again, remember the wild card in that is that Jarrett did not pit.
And Tony Stewart lost a few spots there also. He came in 4th and went out in 6th.
Look at Skinner, from 8th to 21st.
Yeah, and generally he has incredibly fast pit stops.
You know, a car that's really made a comeback is the 2 car of Wallace. He's really running quite well right now and has moved by a lot of race cars, but his crew has been incredible on pit stops also.
Glenn, some guys were quick out the pit lane, but others were not.
Yeah, Eli, Jeff Gordon's guys cranked off another great pit stop, but they only changed right side tires. Same thing for Bobby Labonte. They only put on right. And I think that's one of the reasons that Dale Jarrett stayed out there, in addition to gaining the track position, was also because those guys were only going to take 2 tires. He didn't have as much to lose. Ralph?
Well, for Tony Stewart, it was 2 tires and no adjustments to the car. They're pretty happy with
That's
it.
Johnny Benson.
No yellow.
Oh, and others all get into it.
Yeah, Jeff Bodine is in it.
Kenny
Schrader.
Schrader's got a lot of damage to his car. He's trying to make it back around the pit road, but a lot of smoke coming out of the back of his car.
Schrader crashed here last fall as well. This is going to be 2 in a row he's crashed.
That car will not be back in action today, I don't think. The right front corner has a lot of damage to it.
So Kenny Schrader with problems there. Johnny Benson spun as well. The beneficiary of the good news is Bill Elliott. He has gotten his lap back. He was able to get around the leaders, and Bill Elliott back on the lead lap in 24th spot.
Eli, something's wrong with the 33. The right side of that car has oil all over it. As you can see there, the wheels are very, very shiny. A little bit of fire under the right front there.
And there's a stream of oil. You see it right behind the car, folks, looking up towards the top of your screen. There's a stream of oil all the way down the pit lane. So this is not going to be the quickest of stops.
You can see him using the fire equipment on the right front corner of that race car.
Kenny Schrader always qualifies so well here at New Hampshire, but has yet to crank out the kind of finish that he and his team truly deserve. They have worked so hard for a great finish, just haven't had one. Now let's get another look at these wrecks.
Let's see what happens. 26 is Benson on the outside. Three wide. Ward Burton was in the middle of that sandwich.
Kenny Wallace made contact with Benson as they started into that action there.
Looked like Skinner got a piece of it as well.
Yep, Jeffrey Bodine spun. And obviously we've documented Schrader, who finished 42nd here last August. Remember when he was involved in an accident at lap 175. Now he's involved in an accident on 121. So he may end up with that same result because there's a lot of work to be done on the Skoll car.
As the pilot flies through the night sky, the helmsman steers a course that is true. The landing signal officer checks the approach. The weather crew keeps an eye on the storm. The air traffic controller directs every move. The air boss orders a clear deck. The captain gives the final word. And the plane safely lands on board USS Enterprise. In the Navy, no journey is ever made alone. Call 1-800-USA-NAVY. Let the journey begin.
Whenever you see racetracks around the world, you usually see Mobil 1 signs. So many people think that Mobil 1 synthetic is only for high-performance cars. Well, let me dispel that myth for you right now. Mobil 1 can improve the performance of almost any car while protecting the engine even under the most severe conditions. So for the same reason the race guys use Mobil 1, so should you.
Nothing outperforms Mobil 1.
Sleek, sophisticated, stylish, and yet with an exhilarating V6. Chevy Monte Carlo lets you express that hidden part of your personality, just dying to get out.
Mr. Freeman. How are you? Tommy?
Monte Carlo. The side you show the world is up to you.
Get low APR financing or $2,000 cash back on a new '99 Monte Carlo.
Flip Log Day 19. Traveling the circuits of NASCAR.
Darlington, Daytona, Talladega, Charlotte. The drivers, the cars, the action, bumper to bumper, mano-a-mano at speeds of over 200 miles an hour, with us covering every heart-pounding, adrenaline-pumping moment at the incredible speed of over
35 miles an hour, as fast as it goes.
What?
It's a good thing they keep going around in circles.
TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Jiffy Lube 300 is being brought to you by Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust. And by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, official beer of NASCAR. Hey, race fans, this Bud's for you. Welcome back, everybody. Glad to be here at New Hampshire International Speedway. It's going to be a lengthy caution. They have had to put so much speedy dry down that they are bringing the jet blower out to blow all the excess speedy dry aside. Look at those folks who's having a special day in 70-degree temperature here in New Hampshire. And you see all that speedy dry? That's just too much to have on the racetrack. So they're going to bring the jet blower out to blow it aside so we can get ourselves back to a clean racetrack. While we have time, why don't we bring you the AutoZone Tech Fact, brought to you by the more than 2,500 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. Here's Steve.
Hey, thanks, Eli. I know a lot of you fans at home know that at different racetracks they have different tire compounds, which is to say different hardnesses of the tires. Well, here in Loudon we have a very interesting situation. This is the right rear tire of Mark Martin. On the right side, This is the tire that they use at Phoenix. This is the left front for Mark Martin. On the left sides, they use the tire that they use at Richmond, and this is the only track on the Winston Cup surface where they use different compounds from different racetracks, and that happens right here at Loudon. And let me pay it off while we have some time, Eli. The 99 car of Jeff Burton, he stopped on lap 115, and he just took 2 tires, right sides. Mark Martin, his teammate, also stopped then. He took 4 tires, went out, and then came back in because he has some damage to the left front of the car. They had to pull the valence off, so don't know how that'll affect the handling of the number 6, but he has stopped twice here recently.
Mark is in 16th spot right now, and again, you see we're still away from getting this racetrack clean after Kenny Schrader put all that oil down. Here's the replay of what happened again before. See, it's one of those domino effect kind of situations.
Exactly. When Kenny Wallace got in there, let's just take a look here as we start off the corner. You can see it's hard to get on the brake hard enough to miss. These guys are going everywhere. Look at the oil on the racetrack already there as they start off.
Dave Blaney did a good job, though, wowing it right down and staying out of harm's way. We'll be seeing Dave Blaney here on TNN on Saturday night of this coming weekend at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. Ray Evernham says, well, my guy's in second. We've got a lot of time to get to the front yet.
Hitting the road soon for a long summer vacation? Put Sears on your map first and head to the Summer Road Trip Tire Sale for terrific deals. Get a 100,000-mile treadwear warranty on most sizes of the new Road Handler Voyager LX tire. Right now, save 10 to 25% on the Road Handler Voyager LX. The introductory sale is on now, and it's only at Sears. So make sure your road trip starts here. Sears, your smart stop for tires and batteries.
If these windows could talk, they wouldn't tell you how Fleetwood craftsmen build each home by hand, but about favorite family dinners. And they might not mention our solid steel frames, but they'd tell you about pillow fights and pajamas. Because at Fleetwood, we know the quality that counts most in a home is the quality of life inside. Fleetwood Homes, quality for life. Call 1-800-350-2300 for a Fleetwood Homes retailer near you.
After we ran the last practice last night, the car was just a little bit too tight, so we decided to change the right rear spring and make some small... Sorry.
The Myrtle Beach 250, Saturday on TNN.
It's an American car. Cadillac. Power windows, power steering. And their conditioning is on the fritz.
And wait until you meet our sales staff. Denoyer Chevrolet. We know cars.
Having a bad day? Need some parts? Weller Auto Parts has the parts you need. With over 20 experienced professionals and a computerized inventory system, the staff at Weller Auto Parts make service and quality their priorities. Weller Auto Parts stocks over 1,000 new, used, and quality rebuilt engines, transmissions, radiators, and driveline components. And being an environmentally conscientious company, Weller Auto Parts policy is one of recycling whenever possible. Weller Auto Parts, located at 1629 Douglas, Kalamazoo, 616-381-9490.
Welcome back, everybody. You see them trying to use the old-style street cleaner, but that does the good job here in dispersing all of that speedy dry, and that's what happens when you lose all the oil on the racetrack.
You want to know what a big vacuum cleaner looks like? You're looking at it right there. It sweeps it under and sucks it right up into the back of the truck there.
And there's still some more oil on the racetrack, so this caution is going to be continuing for quite a while. If you're just joining us on TNN Motorsports, we're happy to have you along. Here's what you've missed of the Magic Mile. Kenny Wallace and Sterling Marlin got together quickly. Joe Nemechek spun at lap number 77 for the first caution of the day. Dale Jarrett got into some traffic on the pit road, but he's recovered to run again. Mark Martin, meanwhile, had a good eyeball on what happened at lap 98 when Jerry Nadeau spun. And then at lap 114, Mark Martin, the recipient of a hit of Kenny Irvin, while the guy ahead of them, Rich Bickle, had checked up. And that's what brought about that caution flag at lap 114. Hey, folks, quick reminder, be sure to catch the NASCAR Rocks concert tour this summer. And here are just a few of the dates and locations where you can catch this unprecedented 30-city music tour and festival featuring the Allman Brothers Band. They celebrate their 30th anniversary this year. So be sure to stay tuned to TNN for more information as NASCAR rocks America. Maybe you'll get to one of the concerts where Buddy Baker is the opening act. Then again, maybe you'll luck out and you won't.
Well, since you have the great singing voice, we'll wait and let the people decide someday.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Lap 129 here at New Hampshire International Speedway. Fans from Canada and the United States looking on here at New Hampshire.
What's it like to bite into a Wendy's Classic half-pound double with cheese? Man, this is weird. Wendy's, it's Hamburger Blitz.
TNN salutes a century of motorsports with the Unser family. Bobby Unser began the tradition. At age 15, he raced modified stock cars and progressed to become one of the most versatile drivers in history. He was three-time winner of the Indianapolis 500 and the undisputed king of the Pikes Peak Hill Climb. Al Unser Sr. followed his brother into racing and became one of the most dominating open-wheel drivers ever. A four-time winner of the Indianapolis 500, he ranks first in points earned and second in miles driven. In 1985, Al Sr. edged his son by 1 point to win his third IndyCar championship. Al Unser Jr. has become the biggest money winner of all time. Now, the next generation of Unsers are tearing up the track. Along with Al Jr., Johnny, and Robbie Unser, the family domination of open-wheel racing is continuing. For more on the century of motorsports, log on to country.com, your personal source for all things country.
Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car.
Good morning, Mr. Clark.
Morning, Tommy.
Good morning, Mr. Clark.
Morning, Tommy.
Good morning, Mr. Clark.
Morning, Tommy.
Amazing. That car never ages.
To help keep your car young, protect your engine with Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car.
I'll tell you, our hotel accommodations up here are beautiful, but the view out of the front window of the condo that our producer has on Lake Winnipesaukee was simply spectacular. We could not resist getting the camera going. That truly is Lake Winnipesaukee, one of the most famous resort areas up here in the New Hampshire area. Hey, folks, next Saturday night, TNN has another doubleheader for you. The NASCAR Busch Series and the Pennzoil World of Outlaws will be featured on a doubleheader. It all gets started with the Myrtle Beach 250, followed by the Mopar Kings Royal. That is next Saturday, starting at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, on TNN's Saturday night at the races. By the way, that's what it turned out to be yesterday in Nashville. Once you and Buddy and Dick, once you guys had to leave, they finally ran the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race last night. And our congratulations to Dennis Setzer. Got the win over Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Hensley, Joe Ruttman, and Jack Sprague. Ron Hornaday came home in 23rd. So the point standings now, Jack Sprague still atop the heap. He has a 65-point lead on Greg Biffle. Stacy Compton is in third, but they finally did get the Federated Auto Parts 250 in at Nashville.
And Dennis Setzer's done a great job this year. He won in Texas and then last night. That's pretty good. I tell you, he's a tremendous driver.
This long caution flag has definitely been a help to some of the teams that have been working down there on pit road. Schrader's car is now back out again. The 31 has made repeated stops, and the number 1 is Steve Park has been in and out. Let's go to Ralph Shaheen.
Well, they have been in and out with Mike Skinner's car 8 times now this afternoon during this lengthy yellow. He had gotten together with Kenny Schrader during that incident. In fact, on one of the first stops, James Landon, the rear tire changer, got hit in the eye with a lug nut that came flying off the wrench. Those wrenches spin at over 10,000 RPMs, so those lug nuts come off there awful fast. He's to the care center to get some stitches. Glenn Jarrett.
Okay, Ralph, I'll move down to Dale Jarrett's pits, and some interesting strategy here. You know, DJ had to stay on the racetrack the last 2 pit stops. Well, now they've decided to come in. Robert Yates came down and pointed out to them, hey, guys, if we pit now, change all 4 tires in the car, we're going to lose track position. But we can make it only one more stop the rest of the way. So they're going to do a 4-tire change, put the fuel in the car. He was going to have to stop on about lap 170, 175 anyway. So it's just another gamble by the Robert Yates 88 team.
Hey, thanks, Glenn. Ken Schrader has been off the racetrack for many laps. His radiator has been changed. The oil cooler has been changed. Lots of bent sheet metal here. The crew took a lot of these pieces off. And as we said, there's the radiator that they replaced and the oil cooler. So heavy damage to Ken Schrader. Schrader told the team that he'd got hit from behind, but he does not know who did it. So anyways, he's lost many laps.
He is 11 laps down as the field does get the 1-to-go signal. By the way, the folks at Morgan McClure Racing asked us to mention their open house that's coming up on July the 17th from 10 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon. Bobby Hamilton is going to be there signing autographs at the shop. He'll be there from 10:30 until 2. The Morgan McClure shops located off exit 22 of Interstate 81 in Abingdon, Virginia. And that's coming up on July the 17th. So if you're interested in seeing a NASCAR Winston Cup operation up close, that's a good chance to do so. Open house at Morgan McClure Racing.
And that's a real first-class operation at that. They do things right at Morgan McClure.
Getting set to go back to green in just about a half lap. Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte, John Andretti, then Rusty Wallace and Tony Stewart. You've got Dale Earnhardt restarting in 6th. Jeff Burton will restart 7th. He's up to 7th. Kyle Petty is 8th. Running well is Ricky Craven. He'll restart in 9th. And Ward Burton will restart in 10th. Taking him a little further back, Wally Dallenbach will go from 11th. Kenny Wallace 12th. Terry Labonte 13th. Good run first time out. Hutch Strickland, he's in 14th. And Mark Martin is now running 15th as we get set to go back to green. Just 16 laps shy of halfway.
Eli, they'll have to be extremely careful. Although they did a great job of cleaning up, there's still some oil dry out there. If you get out of the groove, I'm afraid you'd be in trouble right now.
See all that speedy drive basically up towards the wall. They did a great job of cleaning the racetrack.
You see the dust flying as they start down the back straightaway into turn 3.
Everybody kind of tippy-toeing their way through.
And Rusty Wallace just went right up to the wall.
Yep. Got it rolled back down.
Just.
Jeff Gordon's off the pace.
And Andretti is the leader. Gordon had to woe it on down 2. Andretti takes over as the leader. So we have yet a new face atop the leaderboard after Jarrett led from 116 to 133. Gordon led 134 and 135. And now John Andretti, lap 136, showing the way. And now Sterling has problems.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. He just got out of the groove a little bit, got up in that oil dry, lost control just for a moment, but was lucky enough to get it back straight. Talking about John Andretti, this car seems to run very, very well on flatter racetracks. In Phoenix, it was a winner with Bobby Hamilton driving. John Andretti this year in Martinsville, it seems that they really have the handle on the flatter track.
7th race he has led this year. And remember, too, he even led at Pocono for a bit, which is not totally flat, but certainly has flat track, short track, and all sorts of track characteristics to it. So John Andretti takes over as the new leader here in New Hampshire. Bobby Labonte's in 2nd as Jimmy Spencer right behind him. Spencer is a lap down on the 23.
Andretti has just taken off. He's built himself a good, comfortable lead, almost a full 2nd now.
Again, John Andretti took the lead. Let's check it out again and see what happened at lap 136. You see him there in the middle of the screen while Gordon was leading. Gordon goes wide, as you see Wallace did near the right of your screen. And while Gordon got it woed down, Andretti said, I've got the lead, and he does.
Tony Stewart was way up there in the loose stuff, too.
Now Gordon and Wallace battling side by side for 7th and 8th. And look at Craven in the 50.
Ricky.
Oh, and around goes Rusty.
Oh, my.
Oh, a hard hit. Caution. Caution. Number 5 of the day, lap 140, Rusty Wallace. in the wall in turn 4.
Wowee.
And this morning, Robin Pemberton said this car is virtually perfect. They thought they had a great chance to win today.
And I'll guarantee you that's one mad person driving that 2-car right there. As you can see him cranking it back up there, that was unspent fuel. The car didn't catch on fire. That was just coming out of the exhaust on that car.
Here comes everybody back to the line now, and a lot of those guys getting laps back. Spencer, Little, Rudd, Mayfield, and Marlin all getting laps back. And oh, look at old Rusty.
It's the wobbly wheel special.
Boy, he's had some terrible luck this year.
He has.
Glenn, he's coming in, and you can't see the right side, but it's ugly.
Yeah, Eli, he's heading down pit road. I was watching some of these other guys to see if they were going to come in, but I can see the right front tire wobbling, and it looks like the rear end has been broken loose too. The rear panhard bar must be broken, because I can see the whole rear end of the car wobbling back and forth. So this is going to take a while. He's going to take some major repairs to get that car back in shape to run any kind of laps at speed.
You're exactly right. And the one reason they broke the track bar on the back of the car, it wouldn't even track down pit road.
Well, you know, Rusty's just seething in the seat.
Good thing we don't have an in-car microphone right now. Let's get another look at it.
Let's see what happened, guys. Figure out exactly who did what.
Okay, Rusty's on the outside of Jeff Gordon. You see Jeff Gordon right down on the bottom of the racetrack. Right there, there's contact between he and Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought it might have been Craven, but I don't think it was. I think it was Gordon and Rusty.
And it don't take much there. Getting into the corner, the car is very light in the back. And just when they made contact, you can see Jeff all the way on the flat part of the racetrack trying to avoid. Now watch where he picks right there.
Yeah, sure does. Sure does.
Just not enough room.
Gordon and Rusty. That view right there showed it all.
Great
Look at
camera
Bickle.
work.
Look at Bickle going through the grass. Did you see that?
Yeah, he didn't know exactly where the 2-car might end up. And when you look up there, you have to make a decision. He went out through the grass there.
And remember on the pre-race, folks, we talked about Rusty. You had an average finish here of 4th. I mean, this guy had finished no worse than 7th in the first 5 races. He started that inaugural race at 33rd, then led 106 laps and won it. He was 4th and 8th here a year ago. Watch it again. Let's go back up to the aerial camera. We're running real time for you here.
Okay, Jeff Gordon's all the way under the yellow line. He sweeps out and catches the 2-car right in the left rear corner. Watch how hard the 2-car of Rusty Wallace hits the outside wall.
I remember last week, Buddy, you and I were talking about this as we ride with Mike Skinner. We were talking about the speed you carry, even though it is a flat track and only a mile.
Yeah, and you don't have the bank here to scrub off speed, so when you get in trouble, you just go straight across the racetrack into the outside wall.
Boy, Mark Martin was right near that one, too. He is going to be exceptionally glad when this day is over, not just because he's running with a broken wrist and a banged-up knee, but he's just in the middle of everything he'd rather avoid.
You know, those replays show you that cars that are back in the pack like that, they really have to decide in a hurry where to go, because you can't see where you're going for all the smoke off the cars as they spin around in front of you.
Don't you love it when they go to work on the hood with a sledgehammer? Those hoods fit. There's probably a 32nd of an inch between the hood and the fender when these races start. You get into a situation like this and the guy's hitting it with a 10-pound sledgehammer. Oh, boy, the body guys hate that.
Doctor, I could write you a book for the times I look through the windshield and see them hitting my hood like that.
Yeah, they hit it all the way to the Hall of Fame. That's exactly what's the story there. Well, we're at lap 144, 6 laps shy of halfway. We didn't have any cautions till lap 77, and the King says, what's going on? My guy's leading.
You hear something? Stampede. Must be the headphones.
Wild Wild West is coming to Amoco for the high-tech headphones inspired by the action-adventure Wild Wild West. Just $1.99 with 4 Phillips of Ultimate or Silver. But you'd better hurry. They're moving fast.
What are you listening to? Hip-hop?
Want to color your gray beard or mustache and get a natural look? It's easy with Just for Men Gel.
You look so natural, no one can tell with Just for Men Gel. No one can tell with Just for Men Gel.
It's not regular hair coloring. It's specially made to penetrate that coarse, hard-to-color gray. Simply brush in and in 5 minutes, rinse. Now gray is gone, matched up to the rest of your hair.
You look so natural, no one can tell with Just for Men Gel.
TNN's Hot Summer Nights gets even hotter Saturday. That's when the NASCAR Busch Grand National drivers light up the night in the Myrtle Beach 250. Then there's more high-speed action as the Pennzoil World of Outlaws crown their sprint car czar in the Mopar Kings Royal. It's 2 great races, 1 great night. It's Saturday night at the races. This Saturday starting at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. A part of Hot Summer Nights Month on TNN.
Over-the-road transit for this broadcast provided by Ryder Transportation Services. Welcome back to New Hampshire, everybody. Eli Gold, Buddy Baker, Dick Berggren, Glenn Jarrett, Steve Burns, and Ralph Shaheen. We have seen a little bit of everything here. A lot of pit stops taking place. Some guys now beginning to get on their own little pit stop schedule. We saw Dale Jarrett come in at lap 133. We saw John Andretti come in. A lot of these guys conceivably, well, Glenn, why don't you pick it up the way we're figuring it up here? Some of these guys might have a decided edge on some of the others.
Well, Eli, I think what Dale Jarrett did a while ago is dictating the rest of these guys. We thought we were going to see them all. They were all on the wall. But then remember, I told you Dale Jarrett could make it all the way on one more pit stop. These guys last pitted, the guys that stayed on the racetrack now, the leaders, last pitted around lap 114, 115. So, you know, Dale's only got about 5 laps of green flag racing on his tires. Everybody was set to come in, but now they've decided not to. So it's interesting how the strategy is going to play out. If they had all come in, Dale Jarrett and his group would have looked like a bunch of geniuses because they'd have moved right back up to the front, regained all that track position. Now that they didn't, we're just going to have to wait till another caution flag.
There's Dale Earnhardt. He's now running in 3rd, while Dale Jr. went out early with engine problems and ran only 44 laps. He has not returned. Jerry Nadeau just taking the Cartoon Network entry behind the wall, and you see a good bit of body work being done to the crew. Rusty Wallace, he's still on the pit lane in the Miller Lite Ford. Let's check the computer printout and see exactly how many laps he's lost. He's lost 7 already, Rusty has, and he's running in 40th position. But that's the leader, Andretti. Everybody else just waiting as we go back to green shortly in New Hampshire.
Honey!
Bill!
Think we need a new ceiling fan?
Lowe's knows how to help.
With hundreds of fashionable top-quality fans.
Including the new 1999 models from names like Hunter and Harbor Breeze.
We can even have your fan installed for you.
So with Lowe's guaranteed everyday low prices, making your room beautiful is a breeze. When it comes to ceiling fans, Lowe's knows.
You got feet that sweat for a living, and you get athlete's foot. Smart guys know comfort comes in yellow. New improved Desinex powder, it gets rid of the fungus and absorbs twice as much moisture as Tenactin. Desinex soothes while it cures for comfortable feet.
This man has found that a 1966 Mustang is a finicky little lady. She demands love, devotion, and a 4-barrel Holly carburetor. At Advanced Auto Parts, it's our job to see that she gets the carburetor and any other hard-to-find part overnight. As for the love and devotion, well, let's just say there are some things we won't get involved with.
This summer, if you can dream it up, Sonic can put it in a cup. We've got hundreds of drink flavors you can mix and match. Plus, our 44-ounce Route 44 big drinks. Enough choices to let your dreams run wild.
Sonic America's driving.
If you end up using anything but AC Delco parts in your car, who knows where you'll end up? AC Delco. If you're not asking for it, you're asking for it.
You know, I always recommend AC Delco automotive parts to all my customers. They're some of the most dependable you can buy. AC Delco. If you're not asking for it, you're asking for it.
TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Jiffy Lube 300 from New Hampshire is being brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. The best part is our people. By Sonic, where we invite you to drive in for a change. And by AC Delco Automotive Parts. If you're not asking for it, you're asking for it. Green flag is in the air, the restart. The next time by will technically be the halfway lap. The completion of lap number 150 is when they award the Gatorade Front Runner Award, and we have the winner of the TNN Rev It Up Sweepstakes. Andretti holds the advantage. He's got some lapped cars around him. Rudd. Here comes Earnhardt. He's in position to try and make a run right here.
Earnhardt gets good grip coming off the corner. John Andretti slips a little bit, but holds on to the lead.
So Andretti is the race leader. And folks, if you are entering the TNN Rev It Up Sweepstakes, make sure you jot down the name of John Andretti as the race leader at the halfway point. Just send your name, age, address, phone number, and the answer John Andretti on a postcard to TNN Rev It Up Sweepstakes, TNN Station, Post Office Box 3582, Southbury, Connecticut 06488. Or if you'd like, enter right now online at country.com.
Boy, the black hats were flying just a second ago as Earnhardt was trying to take the lead. Very quick in the part of the corner that I'm looking at, the center part. That's where you usually tell when a car is working pretty well. And right now, Dale Earnhardt is on the move.
Well, he can smell that lead when Earnhardt gets that close to the front in an automobile race. Hang on, because he is going to take the lead almost certainly. Strong run today by Dale Earnhardt.
Now, statistically, just because you lead it halfway doesn't mean you're going to take the win. This is the 18th race of the year. In 17 races this year, only 5 have been won by the driver leading it halfway.
Yeah, Dick Trickle up under the 3 car there. He had to yield just a little bit to Dick Trickle as he comes up under Earnhardt in the 91 car there.
That's that white and aqua number 91, Dick Trickle. And if you joined us late, he's got the Kodiak sponsorship from David Green's team on board as they failed to qualify.
Earnhardt just lost second.
Yeah, he's on the outside of the racetrack right now. And the handle on that car is not as good when the tires get hot. It looks like he's losing ground now to the inside line.
Rusty Wallace back in the race. If you're keeping tabs, he's 13 laps down after that accident. But Rusty's on the track, and we're watching a great battle for second. And Kyle's in it, too.
And just behind him, Tony Stewart, and then Jeff Burton just behind him, and Jeff Gordon.
3 different lines getting ready to go into that first turn. You don't think the veterans are sick of seeing that yellow stripe on the back of that number 20 car of Tony Stewart? I think there's a bunch of them just love to rip that yellow stripe off. They've seen way too much of it this year.
See the Napa Field summary. Brought to you by Napa. We keep America running.
Eli, look at Ricky Craven in that 50 car there. He's going by Jeff Burton right in the middle part of the corner. What a great run for him today.
And Wally Dowden back in the top 10.
It is a great run for Ricky Craven. This is surely his home track. He's won the pole here twice for Winston Cup Racing. This is a newly formed team. Many of the people on this team have little experience working together to do their pit stops. John Munson, the crew chief, having a great run today, but not as good as this guy, John Andretti, leading here at New Hampshire.
Rusty Wallace made 1 lap, and now he's parked it. He's taken the Miller Lite machine to the garage area. So Rusty joining Dale Earnhardt as the only retirees. Jerry Nadeau is some 12 laps down, but is just now returning to the wars as well. There you see Andretti putting Chad Little a lap down. There's Tony Stewart.
Yeah,
he's in 4th. How did he get there? Why? He just rocketed by Kyle.
Yes, he did.
Kyle Petty's always been aware of the people around him, so when he's looked over and saw Tony Stewart was really much quicker. He didn't battle him at this point in the race. There had been 3 or 4 laps to go. He'd had to earn that spot.
He's going to have to earn the next spot if he's going to get by that black number 3.
23 cars on the lead lap right now.
Hello, Mr. Earnhardt.
23 cars on the lead lap. Let's see what Tony Stewart can do.
Bobby Labonte in the 18 there. See Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart just says, well, yeah, I'm the man too. Let's go at it.
So far, so good in this battle.
That's all for position, folks. That's 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Labonte in the green is 2nd, and you got Trickle ahead of him, not on the lead lap, nor is Ricky Rudd in that bright orange car you saw, the tie ride. There goes Gordon around Kyle Petty.
Tony Stewart going by the 3 right now, trying to get by him. You know that he's going to fight back as they go off the corner, though. Tony Stewart was able to make the move.
The lead, well, it's about a half second with a little traffic around. John Andretti took the top spot at lap 136. Now leads it at 160.
Is there anything else, an only real thing to do? Anything else I need except cold and you? No, there's nothing else that'll do besides Coca-Cola. There's only you.
Play Coca-Cola Red Hot Summer Days, and you can win great prizes all summer, including a new Ford Explorer XLT Sport. Drink in the summer. Drink Coca-Cola.
This is the Firebird Trans Am. And it's very hungry. The muscle car lives. Firebird Trans Am by Pontiac.
Experience the sounds of NASCAR rocks. This summer, join CBS's NASCAR Hits the Road with concerts featuring today's hottest performers. Feel the rush of NASCAR rocks.
The Myrtle Beach 250, Saturday night on TNN.
It's about vision, about that part of imagination which lives outside the lines. It's about focus and the engineering freedom to change everything. It's insight and the flow of original thinking that can revitalize an industry. It's thousands of people visualizing change and one company's way of looking at tomorrow.
The only sports show that delivers more than the score is Real Sports.
The best sports show on television.
With the best reporters in the field, bringing you a side of sports you won't see anywhere else. No other show hits controversy this hard. No other sports program digs this deep.
See why the critics are hailing Real Sports as TV's best sports program. Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel.
Watch HBO on Cablevision.
Welcome back, everybody. The deficit now is just a car length and a half. Andretti in the 43, and here comes Tony Stewart. He had an idea as he tries to grab the lead away. And Chad Little now, again, a lap down. Looks like one of the bump drafts in the modified race here yesterday.
That won't be a real popular move if he happens to hook the King's car down in front straightaway and turns him, though, and him a lap down.
We're at lap 165, 15 laps past halfway. We told you before that Rusty Wallace had made a lap, and he took his car to the garage area after being involved in the accident with Jeff Gordon at lap 140. Steve Burns has made his way to the garage.
Eli, Rusty sitting on the workbench here while the team works on the number 2 car. Rusty, what happened? Can you get back out?
Yeah, we're going to try to get back out there, working on it right now to try to replace some of the parts to get some more points. But it was just on a restart. Top of the racetrack is super dirty. About one lane out there on those restarts. And Gordon got on a fender underneath me, and I got down into 3, tried to hold my line. I looked over, and I saw him down on an apron. kept hold of my line right there, and he stayed on apron. And when I got off of 4, he was into my quarter panel. I was around, but it was a bad time to be racing because the track was so dirty, and I couldn't go any higher. If I went any higher, I was going to be out of the groove and up into the trash. So maybe what I should have done is just back out of the gas real early, let him go, get underneath him. I was just hoping he'd be a little bit more patient on the start. But, hey, that's racing. That's what happens.
Rusty Wallace in the garage area, joining Dale Earnhardt Jr. there as well. There you see Labonte, then the lap car of Chad Little, the 97. Earnhardt, the black number 3. He's running 4th.
Earnhardt's crew was talking about having trouble getting the car to cut through the corners yesterday, so they threw a whole bunch of changes at it this morning before the race, hoping it would work. Car is good, not perfect.
Tony Stewart in 2nd spot, got there a few laps ago with this pass against Bobby Labonte.
He looks to the inside, and it's nice to have a partner out there, a guy that's on your own team. He looked in the mirror, watched the 20 car much quicker, moved over, let him go.
That's been a favorite spot for Tony Stewart here today. We saw him get a move around Kyle Petty earlier, among others.
And the other thing, Tony Stewart is much quicker right now than any car out there. By the computer, he's showing himself about a 1/10 to 2/10 of a second quicker than anybody else out there on the racetrack now.
Tony with a 65-point lead in the Ray Bestis Rookie of the Year points. That lead is over Elliott Sadler. 135 points over Buckshot Jones, who's not here.
Well, I hope they've got a whole lot of extra Tony Stewart t-shirts, because this morning as I walked through the concession area behind the grandstand, there were more people standing at his trailer waving $20 bills in the air than anybody else's trailer. And after this run, well, I just hope they got a whole lot left.
Do you think?
Well, you know, Earnhardt's guys bring 2 to 3 trailers loaded with t-shirts and souvenirs to these things, and Stewart may have to do that too.
That'll be 11th spot changing hands right there. Martin yielding to Dale Jarrett. So Jarrett takes 11th, and Martin, with whom we're riding, now back to 12th. Still yeoman's duty for Mark Martin.
Gutsy stuff. I tried to drive a race car one time. I broke my left wrist running at Beach Ridge Speedway in Maine. Came back the next week with my left wrist in a cast. I made it about 6 laps and said, no way I can do this. And I was out for about 6 weeks. And how Martin is doing this is absolutely beyond me. I tried it. I couldn't. Not at all.
See Sterling Marlin. Mark is, you know, and when the guy's beaten up like this, he has just found himself in the middle of all sorts of messes today.
Yeah.
Up front, the lead is dwindling.
It's down to car lengths now instead of seconds, and Tony Stewart's car is just absolutely perfect. But you understand one thing about a good race car. In between the steering wheel and the back of that seat has to be a pretty good object too. And Tony Stewart never gives up. Every lap he runs as hard as that car will run.
He led lap 64 through 76 earlier today.
First ever Winston Cup start at this racetrack for Tony Stewart. Look at the race he's having. Ran here last year in the Busch Series, finished 2nd to Buckshot Jones, but this is his first ever in this weight and horsepower race car.
I watched him when he was in Sonoma. He ran in top 3 out there and never been on a road course in one of these cars. I mean, he's incredibly talented, as you said earlier.
So's the guy in front of him.
John Andretti had that fine showing at Martinsville earlier this year.
Aldo Andretti is just having a great time watching his son run.
Ran into Aldo in the airport the other day. A nice little chat. Very, very proud of John, as you'd expect. There you see Dale Jarrett dealing with the lapped car of Ricky Rudd. Ricky's in 25th, a lap down. Ward Burton is back in 4th position. Ward in that yellow and black 22. He and Jarrett and Mark Martin are battling for position now, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Kind of thought Ricky Rudd might have a shot here today, extending that streak of his up towards 17 years, with at least 1 win. But Ricky's a lap down at this stage of the day, and there goes Earnhardt losing a spot. That'll be 4th that changes hands as Gordon goes by him. 23 cars on the lead lap. The last one is Jimmy Spencer in 23rd.
There's Ricky Craven. Moved himself up into 6th position now. That's an old Jeff Gordon car, believe it or not, that number 50 that they resurrected and put together for the team.
Up front, Tony Stewart continues to chase down John Andretti. Other notables, Kyle in 7, Wally Dallin back in the top 10 as well. Terry Labonte 13, Kenny Wallace 14th. You see them all up there in the upper left-hand corner of the screen.
What's the song? It's just a matter of time.
Right, well, it was for Burton. He made the move around Kyle right there. Picks up 7th position. You know, Tony Stewart, the guy said we're here in a Busch Series car a year ago where you can just kind of let the car roll through the corner. Winston Cup car, you got to drive it through. He's done it to second.
Filtration, particle trapping, is a lot more complex than people think.
Here we go.
Now, let's say Mr. Schrader here was a 10-micron particle. Now, if Mr. Schrader were to try to get through a Purolator filter, it would be as if he were a running back trying to run through a briar patch 3 football fields long without getting snagged.
No way.
Now you know why every Purolator filter has more pleats and depth than other brands.
I think they get your point.
Pure oil now, pure oil later, Purolator.
Sleek, sophisticated, stylish, and yet with an exhilarating V6. Chevy Monte Carlo lets you express that hidden part of your personality, just dying to get out.
Mr. Freeman. How are you? Tommy?
Monte Carlo. The side you show the world is up to you.
Get low APR financing or $2,000 cash back on a new '99 Monte Carlo.
Hi, I'm Jeff Burton with an exciting message for NASCAR fans. Buy any Exide NASCAR Select product and get a Motorola pager free. It's a great way to enter the Exide NASCAR Select 99 sweepstakes. Every month you'll be paged with another chance to win cool prizes. You could even win $50,000 and be an honorary member of the Exide Racing Team pit crew for the first race of the next century. Look for details wherever Exide NASCAR Select is sold.
Oh, wait, man, I gotta find the phone.
Okay, subcompact, over here. Yeah. Bring that little honey right here. Just ease that little baby in. Touch room. Now give her some gas.
Warning, objects may appear smaller once you've tried our burgers. Denny's Colossal Major League Burgers. Good food and lots of it, starting at $3.99.
Perfect.
My, what big portions we have.
Drivers, race teams, and race fans. The 99 Team Simpson Racing Catalog's now available. For more information, call 1-800-71-RACIN or visit the Simpson website at simpsonraceproducts.com and join Team Simpson today. Mack Trucks are furnished by Clement Chevy Mack Sales. For all your truck and tractor needs, call Clement at 1-800-369-MACK. Winnebago Industries, the official motorhome of TNN Motorsports. For information on Winnebago Industries products or the Winnebago Motorsports team, call 1-800-643-4892.
The battle for the lead continues here in New Hampshire. The Jiffy Lube 300. Tony Stewart's been doing that lap after lap. He is particularly strong off the corners, middle point and off the corners. You see Andretti pulling him a bit on the straightaways, but Stewart really making the noise off the corners, actually from the midpoint forward.
Two equally prepared cars, it looks like, and it's very hard to pass anybody who's running the same speed and in the perfect line around the racetrack. Where would you go to pass that 43? Unless he
right
slips
there.
up just like that.
Labonte is right behind them, an eighth of a second behind.
And don't you know, crew chief Greg Zipadelli on that number 20 car is jumping up and down. He has won here before, once with Mike McLaughlin, 2 times in the same day in the modified and also in the Busch North Series. He has also won in other times here at New Hampshire. Zippy's one of the locals from Berlin, Connecticut.
And he would cherish a visit to Victory Lane here today. We're still got a lot of racing to go, though. We're only at lap 186 of 300. There you see Earnhardt, the black car, in 5th. Jarrett in 6th. Jeff Burton now up to 7th. What has he picked up to like 31 positions today? So far. How about it? Solid run for that team. Ricky Craven still running in 8th. Kyle Petty 9th. Wally Dallenbach in 10th. There's the battle for the lead again. Same spot.
Can't do that one.
What he's doing, he's trying to find the place that he's weakest. John Andretti, where he's the weakest. And you see Stewart right now, he's looking him over, trying to figure out, okay, where is he not quick as I am? That's where I need to make my move.
You see the intervals from lap 186 to 187, lap 188.
Well, right in the middle of the turn. Yeah. He is so good in the middle of that corner.
30-17.
On net from MCI WorldCom, bringing you NASCAR timing and scoring. On net, your one connection to the world.
Kyle Petty blows up going down the front stretch.
Trouble into turn number 1. As the leaders watch Kyle Petty, who is running in the top 10, apparently expire an engine.
No caution yet, and the flagman says he didn't see any oil on the racetrack.
Boy, that's a heartbreaker. Kyle could have had himself a good, solid top 5 finish. He's taking one of the escape roads down the back straightaway. That's part of the road course that they have here at New Hampshire International. And we do stay under green. There, a spot will change hands. Jarrett wants 5th. Jarrett takes 5th.
Clear high. Position number 5. 24 beer next car.
And they're letting DJ know exactly who he's chasing. 24, Gordon being the next car.
Earnhardt's car is about 1 round of bite or 1 round out of being just about what he needs. The car is not sticking properly, and he looks like he's moving out the center part of the corner, and it's just enough that these cars are getting by him and moving him back in the field.
They're going to have at least one more pit stop to adjust all of these cars, and everybody's going to try to adjust them in. Some will make a mistake, go the wrong way. Earnhardt's guys have a ton of experience at getting these cars right as the race goes on.
Been an interesting race in that we went 77 laps without a caution. Then in the next 70 laps, we had a total of 5 cautions. Here goes Burton and Earnhardt. That's for 6th.
Doctor, you can see right in the center of the corner, Earnhardt could not keep his car down, and Jeff Burton just went right by him. Now he runs up on him in the center part of the corner, following him in. But look at Ricky Craven just behind him there, actually moving in on Earnhardt.
A lot of people wondered about Ricky Craven, whether he really still had it or not. He sure looks good here today at New Hampshire.
Trouble, that is Dave Blaney, turn 4, running in 29th spot. That W for that movie Wild Wild West that helped sponsor the effort here this weekend. And the lap back for Kenny Irwin as he swung right by. And there is Blaney, who rumples up the Amoco Ultimate number 93 with that spin in turn number 4. It happened at lap number 194 in the corner. Let's watch it. Blaney's 3rd in line.
Oh, got a little help there.
Yes, he did. Got a hit from Rich Bickle in the caboose, and that sent Blaney shortening it up.
Every once in a while, you guys hear me laugh. I get a little sound from the truck that I work with, and he said, there went the golf clubs.
And the yellow stripe is wounded as well.
2nd race of the year for Blaney. Now, we're at lap 194. One would assume we'll see everyone come in, and indeed they do. These pit stops will be at 195 for all the race leaders. Andretti, Stewart, and Bobby Labonte in our triple split screen. Finding their tachometers.
Stop in the box.
Stop in the box, and to work they go. normal routine. Looks like Stewart's bunch has the quicker stop going. You saw his guys run to the left of the car, and indeed they do. Jiffy and the boys.
Go, 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 go. You're right, beat the 18. Good job.
How about it? By a half-second on Labonte. Good work for Tony Stewart's bunch. So it'll be Stewart, Jarrett, Andretti, Earnhardt, and Bobby Labonte, then Gordon and Burton in that order among those lead cars, first off the pit lane. The King says, well, we lost the lead, but we can get it back.
Pep Boys knows how to give you a great deal on tires. They don't run specials on just one size. Pep Boys discounts every size in stock. That means all 35,000-mile tires are 4 for $99. And all 70,000-mile tires are 4 for only $169. Even top-of-the-line 80,000-mile touring tires, all sizes 4 for $199. Call it a bonanza, an extravaganza. It's how you save on tires. Pep Boys.
Cars like us.
People love us.
Some things are obvious from the start. Like, things turn out better when you work together. That's why the UAW International Union and General Motors Corporation got together to create programs to improve skills and safety, to educate, to promote teamwork and build better quality cars and trucks. Assembly line to finish line. Teamwork wins.
TNN's Hot Summer Nights gets even hotter Saturday. That's when the NASCAR Busch Grand National drivers light up the night in the Myrtle Beach 250. Then there's more high-speed action as the Pennzoil World of Outlaws crown their sprint car czar in the Mopar Kings Royal. It's 2 great races, 1 great night. It's Saturday night at the races. This Saturday starting at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. A part of Hot Summer Nights Month on TNN.
And we're back at Loudon. Pit stops have just been completed by the leaders. John Andretti came in first. They changed 4 tires, put in fuel. Had a little trouble on the left side. He came out in 3rd position. Bobby Labonte came in, changed 4 tires, and fueled up also. But he's got a problem. He's losing voltage in the car. They're going to have to check to see what the problem is. They've already turned off most of the switches. Ralph?
Glenn, they came in on Tony Stewart. They went up a little bit on the track bar, looking to give him some help up the center of the corner. They had a great stop. 15.72. Tony radioed back in, said, did I come out first? The crew said, we sure did. He said, man, you guys are on it today. Now if the driver can just do his job, he said, maybe we can get somewhere. The 3 car, they had an awesome stop as well. They clicked off a big one, and they took on 4 tires, and fuel came in 6th, went out 4th. He's a little tight in the center of the corner, a little loose off. They made an air pressure adjustment on the 3 car. Steve Burns?
Hey, Ralph, just talked to Frankie Stoddard, the crew chief on the 99 of Jeff Burton. They changed 4 tires, obviously filled up with gas, and they said, Frankie said they wanted to free the car up just a little bit for Jeff. And as we've been following them all day long, started in 38th, now up to 7th.
So those are the fellows moving forward. Ricky Craven came in 8th, and he is now 12th. So he lost 4 spots on that pit stop sequence. And Hut Strickland's team have the hood up. They have now pushed the car to the garage area. So Hut will join Dale Earnhardt Jr., Rusty Wallace, and Kyle Petty as one of only 4 retirees, and Dave Blaney as well now, making it 5 as we are in the middle stages of the Jiffy Lube 300. That's where everybody has positioned right now after the pit stops, but it's Tony Stewart who has taken the lead here at lap number 195. He went by Bobby Labonte in lap number 64 to take the lead for the first time today, and then lost the lead during the pit stop sequence when at lap 77 everybody stopped. Then he blew right by Bobby Labonte again to grab 2nd spot behind John Andretti, and then the pit crew doing the job at lap 195 as Tony Stewart is now leading the Jiffy Lube 300.
You know, it's going to be interesting when we go back to green, because Tony Stewart has not had a fast car until about 10 laps into the run. So will he be able to hold on to the lead?
1 lap to go before we return to green. Time now for a pit update. Lowe's presenting the Lowe's Nose Home Improvement Warehouse update. Here's Ralph.
Well, one of the most knowledgeable crew chiefs up and down pit road is Larry McReynolds. Larry, where are we in the race now strategy-wise as a crew chief overviewing this race? How do you see it playing out from here?
Well, at track position, I just told Mike Skinner he can scream loose, he can scream push, but I know for sure he's got the left sides that he's going to finish the race on. Track position, you can't pass, and it happened to us a while ago. We tried to take some bite out of top 5 or 6 car. Wedgren got left in. We had to bring him back in, get it out. We're back in the back of the pack. They spin in front of him, nowhere to go. So track position, we saw it yesterday, and it's been that way for 7 years here.
Eli, one quick note with this crew as well. Remember, their one crew member got hurt on that one pit stop. He took 11 stitches. He's back out here working again.
That is certainly good news right there. You hate to see any kind of injuries on the pit lane. They have put the caution out one more time, and we are going to be getting one to go yet again. So one more lap, Glenn, before we get back to work.
Yeah, Eli, and you know, it wouldn't surprise me maybe to see a couple of guys come down pit road, top off their fuel tanks. This caution flag and thus these pit stops came just a couple of laps early. I've polled John Andretti, Bobby Labonte, Jeff Gordon, and Dale Jarrett's crews, and they all tell me that they cannot make it the rest of the way on fuel. They will need to stop with about 8 or 10 laps left. Steve?
Hey, thanks, Glenn, with Kyle Petty. Kyle, you had a fantastic run going. Things still smoking. What happened?
We burned a gear, I guess. Something flew off and knocked the belt off the gear or something. I don't know. You know, we were pretty decent. It began to get a little bit slow right there, but it was hard to tell whether it was getting slow or not because Chad Little and a bunch of them lap cars was up there running 8 wide, and they were holding up the lead pack, so you couldn't tell what it was doing. I couldn't tell whether it was me or somebody else, but all of a sudden, as I come up off 2 over there, it slowed down a lot. Then by the time I come up off 4, I just pulled over, and the thing came off of it.
Okay, we're getting ready to go green.
We are getting ready to go green. The flag man, Jimmy Howell. His dad, Roy, is having open heart surgery on Tuesday, having bypass surgery in Winston-Salem. He said, Dad, we're thinking of you here, so we extend those thoughts to Roy Howell, Jimmy's dad, and we are back to work at lap 201. Stewart, Jarrett, Andretti. The 75 Musgrave not on the lead lap. He's at 22nd a lap down. 21 teams are on the lead lap.
You know, Eli, we were just riding with Mark Martin down the back straightaway. With all the things that's happened to him today, he's been just behind several wrecks. Actually got hit a couple of times, and he's already moved himself up into 8th place.
Well, how about all the stuff that's been happening to Dale Jarrett? I mean, last week at Daytona, he runs over a turtle of all things and still manages to get the car square.
Trouble.
Oh, trouble.
Bobby
Labonte. Oh, boy.
Caution. Caution with Labonte running 4th. Earnhardt's down on the apron of the racetrack. So the number 3 and the number 18 spin in turns 3 and 4. And we are under caution at lap 203 for the 7th time today. A little more physical than most Loudon races.
This is a rough one, isn't it?
It really is.
Yep.
You saw Bobby Labonte was beginning to unhook, and there he is climbing out of the...
Oh, boy, he's hot, too. You can tell that. He jumped out of the car. He's looking on the right side. He wanted to look over the damage. Maybe he's not as mad as he wanted to see if the car could continue.
Well, he's right in this championship hunt as well, and a situation like this could be a real problem for Bobby Labonte, who has finished all the races this year.
He's second in points, 177 down. Look at Bobby under the hood, checking on the damage. He'll report on the radio, I would assume, maybe, to hook it back up on the radio and tell Jimmy Maycar and the boys what they need to do.
That's just what he's doing. He's also helped the record guys out a little bit. They can just back right up, hook onto it. He doesn't want to lose any more laps than he absolutely has to.
There's Dale Earnhardt. He is coming into the pits to make a stop here. It'll be at lap 204. Ernie Irvin is in, Jeffrey Bodine, Earnhardt, as we mentioned. Ralph's down there.
He's coming down pit road right now, Eli, about 4,800 RPM. He'll come to a stop in his pit box, and the crew goes to work on the right side of the car. They're going to take 2 tires, work on it a little bit, come back around. They're going to come back in the next time and take 2 more on the left side. So they're going to take a look at the right side of the body, try to make sure all the sheet metal's pulled away from the tires. They'll send him back out, and then they'll come back in and do the same thing to the left side of the car.
All right, so what happened up there? Bobby Labonte walking in. Let's take another look.
Okay, Bobby Labonte on the bottom part of the racetrack. Chad Little on the outside there. Oh, the back just flies out from under him.
Saw Earnhardt begin to fishtail 2 to the outside of Sterling. Watch it again. Car breaks loose. Earnhardt turns it hard to avoid. Oh, look at Bobby Hamilton. Look at, boy, Rick Mast. A lot of guys doing great. That's why you're happy when you're on the racetrack with the best drivers in the world, when you sit broadside like that. The longest walk in sports. And one of the best rides in sports. And the best fans in sports.
I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man.
If the technology in SuperGuard motor oil can protect these high-performance engines, imagine how it'll perform in your new Ford Taurus SHO. Visit our website, Citgo.com, and you could win a 1999 Ford Taurus SHO or one of 500 other valuable prizes when you play the SuperGuard Online 500 Racing Challenge. Register to win at Citgo.com.
I've been everywhere.
If these walls could talk, they wouldn't tell you about the quality wood Fleetwood craftsmen use, but about 6-year-olds making s'mores for the first time. And they might not mention our brand name appliances, but they would tell you of surprise birthday parties. Because at Fleetwood, we know the quality that counts most in a home is the quality of life inside. Fleetwood Homes, quality for life. Call 1-800-350-2300 for a Fleetwood Homes retailer near you.
While there are a lot of places where people buy parts for their car, the fact is more people choose AutoZone than any other. It's because we're the largest auto parts retailer in America, and they save money with our everyday low price. It's because more often than not, we have the parts they need in stock. And it's because we're the only place where they'll find a battery that's backed by a 3-year free replacement guarantee. Which is why we say there's just no place better than AutoZone.
We're talking rugged, we're talking fun. You ride the best and the job gets done. Polaris ATVs are made in the USA. We're talking tough.
56. Buy a new Polaris ATV now with payments as low as $56 a month. See your Polaris dealer for details.
Polaris ATVs, we're talking tough.
TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Jiffy Lube 300 is being brought to you by the more than 2,500 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by Polaris ATVs. If you're going to ride the best Polaris. Back with you here at New Hampshire International Speedway. That is Michael Waltrip, and the reason we zero in on him is because he, along with a couple of other guys, have made some pivotal pit stops. We'll update that story in a second, but first, Bobby Labonte has walked out of the infield care center. Steve?
Eli, he has just walked out. Talking to some other folks here in the media. Bobby, what happened?
Okay. We're racing kind of hard going into 3, I reckon, and got on the inside of a lap car and got in there real hard. Got around for me. I don't know what happened, but just one of those deals, and that's the way it goes.
Are you going to be able to get back out?
Oh, I don't know. We're going to try our best, you know. Just a shame Interstate Pontiac ran good all day. You know, just a shame that it happened, but things like that are going to happen here.
So Bobby Labonte very stoic in his assessment of what may well have ended his day. Bobby Labonte's day began with a pass of Jeff Gordon at lap number 20 to take over the lead. And Bobby Labonte felt like he was set all the way. Then later in the day, again with Chad Little in the picture, he was sideways. He yields gives the lead to Tony Stewart at lap number 64, but then comes right back and grabs the lead from Jeff Gordon at lap number 113. So this day was looking up for Bobby Labonte. But of course, moments ago, caution comes out at lap 203, and Bobby Labonte's car to the garage. As we were saying, an interesting pit stop storyline, Glenn. It's beginning here to develop inside of the final 92 laps.
Yeah, Eli, it's getting down to the real nitty-gritty right now. Remember I said a while ago that some of the cars might come in and top on the last caution period. The only one that did was Michael Waltrip. When they restarted, there was 100 laps to go. They say they can make it the rest of the way. Dale Earnhardt and Ernie Irvin have come in repeatedly under this caution session, so they can make it the rest of the way. The other cars, they're not sure. These caution laps have helped, but they're still not sure. It's going to be a stretch if we go green the rest of the way, and we're green now.
We are green right now. 90 laps to go. Stewart, Jarrett, that's your front two. Then a couple of lapped cars before you get back to third place, Andretti. We're riding with Mark Martin. He is remarkably in fifth right now. Injuries and all. Here's a battle for the lead. Jarrett, who led from lap 116 to 133, is going to try and force his way.
Wait a minute, isn't Jarrett supposed to be conservative going for a championship?
Yes, he was conservative there. He gave Tony Stewart a huge break right there. Tony Stewart didn't get forward light off the corner, and he was right up under him. He backed out of the throttle. That could have been big.
And that's the style you see from a Dale Jarrett, too. He races you hard, races you clean. The 75 there, Musgrave. Not on the lead lap. Ted's a lap down in 21st. He is the first driver a lap down. Those of you who keep up with some of the more obscure statistics on the circuit may already realize that Bobby Labonte is one of only two drivers to have officially been running at the end of every single race this season. He and Rick Mast, the only two running at the end of every race. And if you think, yeah, Tony Stewart was in there, no. He ran out of fuel in Michigan on the last lap. So if Bobby can't come back, Rick Mast will be all alone as running at the end of every single race thus far this season.
Riding down in the corner with Jeff Burton. You see right in front of him the 12 car there, Jeremy Mayfield, who's just been off the pace today.
Mayfield's 2 laps down, while the 99 Burton is in 4th. Martin, his corporate teammate, trying to pass him now as we ride with Martin.
Talk about playing hurt. Now this guy has been out there. He missed 2 or 3 big wrecks, been in one himself, got his car bent up a little bit, but fighting back like a guy that really wants that championship. And that just proves to you how tough Mark Martin really is.
And how good Mark Martin is and how badly he does want the championship. He's finished second in the championship points 3 times, third 3 times, never won it. And what a great champion he would make.
Mark is third in points right now, 234 behind Dale Jarrett, and could well take over the second spot because Bobby Labonte's in the garage. Rusty Wallace is returning to the race. Those of you who keep tabs on the Miller Lite team, Rusty is 73 laps down, but he is back on the racetrack here in the middle to late stages of the Jiffy Lube 300. The lead belongs to Tony Stewart. But there's a lot of racing yet to go.
In the racing business, the right hardware at the right time can make the difference between winning and losing.
Get the toolbox that rocks at True Value. It's just $24.95 when you spend $20 or more on your Visa card at participating True Value hardware stores.
Your True Value is the official hardware store of NASCAR, IROC, and homes everywhere.
We're back with WCW. Goldberg's in trouble. Ming to the front. Back he goes to the turnbuckle. Into the gut. But Goldberg rebounds with a headbutt. Ming on the outside. Ming gets a chair. Goldberg gets a chair. This could get ugly. They're gonna eat pizza.
Little Caesars WCW meal. Get a free WCW motion card when you order 2 medium pizzas for just $9.99. Collect all 4.
Pizza.
I'll trade you these 3 for a Goldberg. Nope.
real romance.
You're waving sugar under the nose of a dead horse.
The Real McCoys, solving real problems, one episode at a time. Weekdays on TNN. Real clean.
Soap is beginning to itch me, Grandpa.
The Johnson boys can't seem to contain their excitement. Their parents just bought a family car at Denoyer Chevrolet and got a great deal and received lots of personal attention. Denoyer Chevrolet's great deals and great service will give you a reason to celebrate.
We used to get the greats and the near greats. Big Lincolns, caddies, sporty foreign jobs. A few parts go bad, water pump here, distributor there, head gasket, whatever. Before you know it, we got another junkyard lifer. But smart cars are making better choices, putting in good Pronto auto parts. They're running better, driving smoother, lasting longer. Pronto has the quality parts for good cars gone bad. The smart choice might be to just get Pronto auto parts in the first place.
Good to see you folks here at New Hampshire International Speedway. Great crowd on hand, approaching 100,000. And they're seeing a super battle up front. Tony Stewart, Dale Jarrett, John Andretti, those three tied tightly together, battling for the lead. Mark Martin is in fourth. Jeff Burton fifth. Jeff Gordon sixth. Bobby Hamilton up to seventh place now. But nobody's able to touch Tony Stewart. It's just been a matter of time for him to get back to the front. The crew helped him this last time.
Eli, just a few minutes ago, we were watching as we were away at break, and Tony Stewart just pulled over on the back straightaway and then got going again just for a moment. Whether he broke traction over there or what, but he backed up just a little bit. Ow.
That's Jeff Gordon coming calling on fifth place, Jeff Burton. Not a big difference in speed, but just enough to keep Stewart at the head of the pack. Ralph?
Eli, nobody on this team is panicking over what Buddy noticed out on the racetrack. They all seem calm, cool, and collected as if nothing is wrong. So I don't know if Tony just lifted off the throttle a hair early or what on the backstretch. They have been telling him to lift off and let the car roll more through the center of the corner. I asked Craig Zipadelli, the crew chief, if he can make it all the way. He looked at me and he said, I don't know, but we might have to. Now, the thing to remember here is that this team thought they had the race at Dover one earlier this year, and they got caught out due to fuel economy.
If Tony Stewart wins, it would be his first NASCAR Winston Cup win and his 18th start. The best five of active drivers is Dale Earnhardt. He won the first time in his 16th career NASCAR Winston Cup start, so it certainly wouldn't be a record. It would be darn close.
And to be the first time a guy had won the race for the first time since Jeremy did it last year at Pocono in June. First time we had a first-time winner in a long time.
Tony Stewart, the race leader. Mike Skinner running comfortably in 12th.
Rock and roll! We love you!
To keep your car rocking, protect your engine with Haviland Formula 3 motor oil. Add more life to your car. Get a free fender cover with case purchase of Haviland Formula 3 motor oil. See store for details.
Okay, subcompact, over here! Yeah! Bring that little honey right here! Just ease that little baby in. Tons of room. Now give her some gas!
Warning, objects may appear smaller once you've tried our burgers. Denny's Colossal Major League Burgers. Good food and lots of it, starting at $3.99.
Perfect.
My, what big portions we have.
It's the greatest racing on earth.
Excitement. Speed.
The drivers.
It's a rush. Exhilaration and acceleration.
Family fun.
Fast cars.
Top trucks.
The NASCAR Winston Cup Series. The
NASCAR Busch Series, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. This is NASCAR.
NASCAR is racing.
You know, I bet I drive more than a race car driver. Of course, I only go a few hundred feet. You can tell a lot about someone from the inside of their car or truck. Like how tall they are, well, the other things they'd rather spend their money on. Hang on, Roscoe.
Our lifetime guarantee means you'll never pay twice for any covered repair. GM Good Wrench Service Plus. It's for life.
Having a family vehicle you can count on is important. For people and for alligators.
Welcome back, everybody. Want to take a moment to let everybody know that TNN Motorsports is now offering official NASCAR merchandise, including the latest die casts from your favorite drivers. To order any of the NASCAR merchandise you're interested in, just call that toll-free number you see on the screen, 877-TNN-1999. We are live at New Hampshire International Speedway. That is a battle right there for 5th spot, won by Jeff Gordon against Mark Martin.
2 laps ago, he just backed off the 6th car there, moved over, let Jeff Burton go by his teammate, and then the 24 goes right by. I think Mark just for a moment said, you know, there's a lot of racing to go yet, and he just kind of backed up a little bit.
And indeed, there is a lot of racing. We're still 70 laps. Better than 70 miles to the finish. There's Mark Martin. The race leader is Tony Stewart.
I can see why he let Jeff Burton go. He's a mile an hour faster than anybody out there right now. So he just moved over and let his teammate go. Jeff Burton's on the move right now.
We talked on the pre-race show also about Bobby Hamilton, how well he likes those flat tracks. Well, he doesn't like them. He actually hates them. He said, I hate flat tracks, but I always run well at them. You'd think he'd learn to like them by now. But look at Bobby running all the way up to 7th. Heck, even last July, remember, he had to use a backup car, wrecked on Friday, and brought that car home to a top 15 finish.
I asked him about that this morning. I said, you know, we keep talking about that, but has that changed at all? He said, absolutely not. I detest the flat tracks. He thinks he runs well on the flat tracks because he learned at Nashville, which is a real slippery racetrack where you've got to have a lot of car control, particularly over the back end of the race car. So he's good on flat tracks, but he says, I don't have to like them.
Sat on the outside pole for both races here a couple of years ago. Had a top 10 finish the season back, but you're right, he says, I don't like him, but he runs well at Phoenix, he runs well at Martinsville. It's just one of those strange deals right there. Ricky Craven also still in the top 10. You see Wally Dallenbach having an 8th place run. You know, Wally's only had one top 10 finish all year. He finished 8th earlier in the season. And there is Ricky Craven doing himself awfully proud. He and Ward Burton right there, the 22 and the 50, battling for position. That's 9th and 10. Ricky hasn't had a top 10 since February of '98 in Rockingham. So he's due.
You know, Eli, it has a lot to do with being comfortable where you're at, though. We know that Ricky Craven can drive. He sat on the pole here last year, and everybody talks. Every time he gets involved in anything, they say it's because he's hurt. Well, he's back. You can see he's very consistent on the racetrack, and he drives the car as well as anybody out there. It's about time they got off that case and said, okay, you can do your job.
You know who we're riding with now? Bill Elliott. Remember he got his lap back a while ago? He is battling Mike Skinner for 17th and 18th. Those guys both on the lead lap. He had kind of let Bill slip aside a bit when he went a lap down early, but he is back in the hunt and doing awfully well. The lead, though, belongs to Tony Stewart. Almost a second of an advantage now over Dale Jarrett. And hey, look what's here. That's Buddy Baker's traveling beer keg.
That's your lunch pail.
That's the Bud One Airship. Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR.
Hey, Budman. Follow us. Come on.
Like I'm gonna fall for that old trick.
Not so good.
All 4 barricades, huh?
Need a battery?
Now at Pep Boys, get a ProStart 75-month battery from $44.99. ProStart name brand quality batteries by Exide from $44.99.
Pep Boys. Cars like us. People love it.
Summer. Time to get busy with Red Lobster's 30 shrimp dinner for $9.99. 2 choices, 30 shrimp, $9.99. Escape to Red Lobster.
It's the most dangerous 8 seconds on television. Hang on. It's championship bull riding from Tunica, Mississippi. Tonight at 9 Eastern and Pacific on TNN.
Welcome back to New Hampshire, the Jiffy Lube 300. No change in the running order. Tony Stewart, Dale Jarrett, John Andretti. They're a second apart. Jeff Burton now running in 4th. Jeff Gordon 5th. Then Mark Martin, Bobby Hamilton, Wally Dallenbach, Ward Burton, and Ricky Craven. That is the top 10. Pit strategies as we come down to the stretch. Ralph, what are they telling you?
Craig Zipadelli, crew chief for Tony Stewart, says we're probably going to have to try to go all the way. I talked to the crew chief of the 88 car as well, Todd Parrott for Dale Jarrett. He says we can go all the way as well. Glenn Jarrett?
Okay, Ralph. Robbie Loomis with John Andretti says that they will probably try to stretch it if it goes green the rest of the way. Meanwhile, Ray Evernham with Jeff Gordon says no way that they can make it. There's only one problem with all this. I don't know who's telling the truth. What about you, Steve?
Well, Clint, down here on this end of pit road where Mark Martin and Jeff Burton's teams are pitting next to each other, I talked to both crews. They must be telling the truth because the 6 says they cannot make it and the 99 says they cannot make it either.
So a different, very different set of circumstances here among the leaders. Stewart says yes, Jarrett says yes, Andretti says we can go. With the 24, the 6, and the 99, Gordon, Martin, and Jeff Burton say And of course, all of that talk goes out the window as you see Burton going by Andretti right there.
Good job, buddy. Quite to do it.
Third spot changing hands. All of those numbers go out the window should we have another caution. But this is kind of like the first 77 or 80 laps. It was caution-free, then a whole bunch of stuff middle of the race, and now things are settling down. We've had a total of, what, 49 caution laps already here today, but they were kind of bunched up.
And if you're just joining us, this number 99 car of Jeff Burton started all the way in the back of the pack. Reason being, they just couldn't get it dialed in during qualifying. They weren't fast in the practice sessions either. So this morning, they put their heads together, threw a new suspension package at the car, and it really was a gamble. Would it work or not? Well, it sure has. Jeff Burton is running high with a big gamble underneath the race car.
A little different than a year ago. Remember when he led 191 of the 300 laps here last July and won by, what, 7.5 seconds? A little different.
One thing is the same. He's fast.
Yes, he is.
He is so good here at New Hampshire.
127.4 miles an hour the last time around. That was the second fastest lap behind only Tony Stewart, the race leader. Pit stops taking place bit by bit while we watch the action on the racetrack. Ricky Rudd's been in. Sterling Marlin has been in. Tony Stewart took the lead at lap 195 most recently. Is going to deal with some race traffic. Irvin, Irwin, and Rudd ahead of him, while the fans enjoy a beautiful day in New Hampshire. Hope you are too.
Just because you're in front doesn't mean you sit back and watch the others try and catch up. If you can make a great thing better, you do it. And that's what they've done with new Mobil 1 Tri-Synthetic. That's a bit of a mouthful, but basically it means new Mobil 1 protects against engine wear better than ever before. Helps your anti-pollution gear work better too. For me, using anything less just isn't an option.
Nothing outperforms Mobil 1.
We're here at a NASCAR race to take a survey. First question, does anyone sell as many high-quality auto parts as Napa? That'd be a no. Does anyone sell more hard-to-find parts than Napa? No again. Does anyone have as many ASE-certified employees? Last question, would you like to get paid for this survey? just checking. Napa, over 200,000 parts, and everyone's important.
You have your weekend projects. We have ours.
For centuries, our kings were cursed. Their sedans had narrow handrails, making them hard to control in the corners. Eventually, it was learned, wider is better.
With its speed-sensitive steering technology, the Wide Track Grand Prix gives you precise control in the corners. Wider is better. The Wide Track Grand Prix by Pontiac. Now you can lease the Grand Prix GT sedan for just $269 a month. See your Pontiac dealer today.
TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Jiffy Lube 300 from New Hampshire is being brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. Napa, we keep America running. By the Home Depot, the official home improvement warehouse of NASCAR. And by the Wide Track Grand Prix by Pontiac. Wider is better. Hope you had a chance to log on to country.com, TNN's home on the World Wide Web. Whatever you're looking for, information on race cars, country stars, connect to country.com. Hey, and folks, don't forget, we'll have racing coming up this Friday night on TNN. The Pennzoil World of Outlaws will take the greatest show on dirt to Eldora. Don't miss it at Eldora Speedway's fast half-mile, the Mopar Clash, Friday night, 10 Eastern and Pacific on TNN Motorsports. And that gets the big month of money going for the Pennzoil World of Outlaws. From the Kings Royal right through the Knoxville Nationals. You'll see it here on TNN. 4 races coming up in the month with some $280,000 on the line for those drivers. There's your leader, Tony Stewart. He is up by 0.8 of a second right now on Dale Jarrett, who is running in the second spot. Again, pit stops could be a storyline as this day continues. There's a good battle for position as John Andretti has 4th in the 43, and the 24 of Jeff Gordon runs right behind him. That's 4th and 5th. Lap 252, just 48 to go. And again, Stewart, Jarrett, Andretti, their crew chiefs say they can go on fuel. Gordon, Martin, Burton, that's Jeff Burton, they say no, we can't make it.
Remember, too, that fuel deal is imprecise. These cars do not have an accurate method of measuring fuel, certainly not down to the last gallon. And we have seen many occasions where a guy will run out with 1 lap to go or run out just after the checkered flag.
And the other thing the drivers do is when they know they have to conserve fuel, they may back off a little bit, fall back a couple of positions so they can be a little easier on the throttle, because every time they jump in that throttle, it opens up the carburetor and dumps a load of fuel down into the intake.
Mark Martin in the number 6, running in 6th position. He is 6 seconds behind the race leader, Tony Stewart. Then you come to the 28. That's Kenny Irwin. He is now 3 laps down in 27th position. Letting you know where all your favorites are. The 36 is Ernie Irvin. He is running in 20th, a lap down, while the 4 of Bobby Hamilton is on the lead lap. He's 8.5 seconds behind Tony Stewart. There's Wally Dallenbach. Wally's on the lead lap in 8th. He's 9.8 seconds back. Then you come to Chad Little, who's been on and off the lead lap throughout the course of the day. There is the number 97. He's running in 21st. He is a lap down. Ricky Craven having a super day. He is in 9th. 15 seconds behind the leader, but still on the lead lap. And so's Terry Labonte on the lead lap in the number 5 car. He's 16 seconds behind our race leader, Tony Stewart. There's Ward Burton. He, too, is on the lead lap. He's 12.5 seconds back. Rich Bickle is the 45, that purple car. He's on the lead lap in 12th. Good run for him. Then you've got cars not on the lead lap any longer. The 26 is Johnny Benson. He's in 23rd, a lap down. The 75 is Ted Musgrave, also there in 24th spot. Back up front, Jeff Gordon makes the move around Andretti, grabs 4th position away. So Gordon beginning to rumble now here, and Mark Martin is still running in 6th.
And that's why you can see the Andretti car turn sideways as Mark Martin got in behind him coming off the corner there.
Settles down quickly enough. But John Andretti losing valuable positions. He and Martin swapping around the 5th place there. Kyle Petty's out for the day. Hud Strickland, Dave Blaney, Bobby Labonte, Rusty Wallace. There you see 2nd place and 3rd place. Dale Jarrett and Jeff Burton.
Jeff Burton has run him down from over full straightaway back and has caught Jarrett. And right now, much quicker than any car out there. Tony Stewart was being reeled in, and I think they may have called him and said, Tony, somebody's gaining on you. He got back up on the wheel, started pulling out. But you can see they're not very far behind Tony Stewart. He's the next car in front of Jarrett.
Only a second behind. Burton led the Winston Cup points for 6 straight weeks before yielding that point lead to Dale Jarrett after the Richmond race. But think about this. Remember that graph we showed you of the stats on the pre-race? Burton is now 300 points ahead of where he was in the point total in 1998. So no, he's not leading the points. But boy, has he ever made some headway here in 1999. Of course, comes in 4th. The NASCAR Winston Cup points. Here he goes. 2nd place. Burton's got it. From 38th to 2nd. Now, does he have enough to chase down Tony Stewart? Greg Cipodelli hopes so. We'll all find out together when we come back.
The biggest secrets in motorsports are now on the internet. Talk to the drivers, get the inside information, see the cars, be first to know. Be the best informed motorsports fan on the planet. Go to www.goracing.com. Home of Speed Mall.
The Hardee's All-Star Racing Team Collectors Cup, featuring all 7 members of the Hardee's racing team.
Martin's coming in for an unscheduled pit stop.
It holds 44 ounces of your favorite beverage, even if you can't. Get your Collector's Cup now at Hardee's, a proud sponsor of the Roush Racing family.
Unwrap the best package of motorsports merchandise, authentic apparel, collectibles, clubs, die-cast games, and more. The largest selection of motorsports merchandise in the universe is at www.goracing.com. Home of Speed Mall.
Experience the sounds of NASCAR Rocks. This summer, join CBS as NASCAR hits the road with concerts featuring today's hottest performers. Feel the rush of NASCAR Rocks.
The Myrtle Beach 250, Saturday night on TNN.
Got a job that's too big for you to handle? There's no job too big for Maintenance Masters. Locally owned and operated for 11 years, Maintenance Masters Heavy Equipment Division has everything from backhoes, tractors, dump trucks, and front-end loaders to industrial parking lot sweeper. No matter how big the job, Maintenance Masters has the equipment to handle it all. Maintenance Masters. Quality you can see, performance you can count on.
Life is full of reasons to celebrate with TCBY frozen treats. Reaching a goal. A hard day at work. Life-changing moments. Because it's Tuesday. And another year in your birthday suit. Enjoy a TCBY Cappuccino Chiller, now only $2.19 at your TCBY shop. TCBY, it's time to celebrate.
We are back at New Hampshire International Speedway, where Tony Stewart continues to lead. I know I'm going to be watching that show coming up Tuesday here on TNN. He was going to be the leader of the next generation of great champions. Had just begun to show what he was made of, but it all came crashing to an end. The life and times of Davey Allison coming up Tuesday night, 8 Eastern and Pacific on TNN's Hot Summer Nights month. And by the way, he's the last rookie to win a NASCAR Winston Cup race, the late Davey Allison. Back in 1987, won a couple races, won at Dover, and also won prior to that at Talladega. So the life and times of Davey Allison Tuesday. And of course, don't forget race day. Whether it's Rick Benjamin, whether it's Mike Hogwood as it was today, all the latest news from all the NASCAR series and all the worldwide racing scene, race day Sundays here on TNN Motorsports. All right, let's go back to the pits and revisit all these fuel stories and everything else. Ralph?
Well, we'll start with Craig Zipadelli, crew chief for Tony Stewart. How sharp is that pencil and how well is this car handling? Is he handling well and can he make it all the way on fuel?
The car's driving good. We're just trying to keep it calm down, nice and smooth. We need to conserve all the fuel we can. We're about a lap short.
Does he have a push or is he tight or loose? What's the situation?
We're a little tight in the center. We're not bad.
And don't forget, guys, if he's a little tight, that'll also affect that fuel mileage. That'll hurt his fuel mileage. Steve Burns?
And Frankie Stoddard, the crew chief for Jeff Burton. You guys are awfully fast. Can you make it all the way on gas, Frank?
It doesn't look it. It'll be a gamble if we can. I don't think we can. I guess they're saying that the 20 can, so, you know, it's kind of too bad it's going to come down to gas mileage. But Jeff drove a great race. That XI battery 4 has just been, you know, we just struggled all day, all weekend in qualifying and stuff. I didn't give him the right combination in the car for the racetrack this year, and we've got to figure it out this, you know, today, and hopefully have a good finish.
Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Okay, I just asked Todd Parrott if they were coming in. He looked at me and shook his head no, but there's a lot of figuring, a lot of concern going on down here in the 88 pit. They are still not certain that they can make it all the way. Here's Todd. Well, he's not going to say it on the air.
Well, I guess we'll all find out together, won't we?
He wanted to know who could make it. But let me finish up by saying this, guys. If anybody cannot afford to run out of gas, it's this team. They're leading the points. Bobby Labonte, who's in second, has already had trouble. They've gained a bunch on him. And we know that Jeff Burton is probably going to have to stop. So they cannot give up those kind of positions. Right now, I think the man in the catbird seat is Dale Earnhardt. Remember, I told you he had to stop after that spin up there a while ago for some minor body damage. He can make it. There's no doubt about Earnhardt.
Well, some teams beginning to make their pit stops early while we watch the action on the racetrack. Rick Mast is coming in at lap number 272. So some of these teams are making the early stops, but Tony Stewart just out there running.
You know, I have to think that Jeff Burton has backed off the throttle a little bit, trying to conserve fuel right now. He has backed off the pace. He was running Tony Stewart down, and all of a sudden it was like, okay, I have to conserve fuel.
Now, is that the only way? Does smoothness also help you conserve fuel as opposed to pouncing on the gas pedal?
Oh, exactly. That's what you do. You get back in the throttle very easily. You back off a little bit early. You save it. Going in both corners, you save a little fuel. When you get back in the throttle, you don't get all the way in it. You save a little more fuel.
Riding now again with Burton, looking back towards Jimmy Spencer. Dale Earnhardt right there, his crew chief Kevin Hamlin. What's their fuel situation, Ralph?
Well, let's find out. We're with Kevin. Kevin, the way we see it, some of the guys are saying they can make it all the way, but we're not real sure they're telling us the truth. We know, according to the numbers, your car can go all the way, can you not?
Yeah, GM Goodrich Service Plus Chevrolet can go all the way. There's a couple other cars that stopped the same time we did during that caution when we spun there with 18 cars. I believe most everybody else in front of us is going to have to stop.
Is your car handling good enough to hold on and win if there's some other cars to race with at the below?
It's not handling as good as it was earlier today, but we're just going to have to see what will happen here.
Of course, you have to factor in he's got a 7-time Winston Cup champion behind the wheel.
Remember, too, we talked about Michael Waltrip had stopped to top off. So did Ernie. Earnhardt came in at lap 204 and again lap 206. Maybe that'll be the story. Who knows?
When friends get together
work's all done, there's one place to go when the weekend comes. Ford Country. Look at that truck, Ford Country. Gonna kick up some dust, Ford Country. Where the open road runs, Ford Country. The whole world's Ford Country.
I gotta do all the work around here.
Hit the summer road trip tire sale at Sears for terrific deals. Get a 100,000-mile treadwear warranty on most sizes of our new Road Handler Voyager LX tire. The introductory sale is on now, only at Sears. Your smart stop for tires and batteries.
This summer, if you can dream it up, Sonic can put it in a cup. We've got hundreds of drink flavors you can mix and match. Plus, our 44-ounce Route 44 big drinks. Enough choices to let your dreams run wild.
Sonic America's driving.
Alicia thinks she understands men better than I do.
And Dayanara says she knows what men want.
Guys, I say that what gives Miller Lite its great taste is the choice hops. Agreed?
Yeah! And I say you prefer the great taste because it's smooth. Guys?
Yeah! So it doesn't make any difference to you why Miller Lite tastes great?
Yeah!
Miller Lite, taste the true Pilsner.
Look, are you with her or with me? Yeah!
Folks, don't forget, Saturdays at 4, Sundays at 10. Ned is there. The whole crew inside NASCAR. Get the latest on the world of NASCAR right here on TNN Motorsports. Bobby Labonte back on the racetrack. He is 78 laps down, but nevertheless, the Interstate Batteries Pontiac back out there to try and finish this Jiffy Lube 300. Now, remember the fuel situation again. If you're just tuning in or maybe didn't have a notepad, Michael Waltrip, Ernie Irvin, Dale Earnhardt, plus others on the lead lap like Kenny Wallace, Bill Elliott, they have all topped off with fuel. The other guys who came in early, Jimmy Spencer has been in as well. So remember those names as we work our way towards the finish of this event, because Spencer, too, on the lead lap. He's the last guy on the lead lap, and Gordon is in. He said he couldn't go. Ray Evernham speaks the truth. Lap 282, Jeff Gordon will come in just to top off the DuPont Chevrolet. He pits in the very last stall. 1, 2, 3 seconds and away.
Just enough to go to the end there. Did not take on, as you said, he did not take on tires. Now he has to stay on the bottom of the racetrack until he gets all the way over on the back straightaway. Now he starts to blend into traffic.
Till that yellow line ends. Coming out of turn number 2, that's called the blend line. 17 laps from the finish. All right, so who's next? Ray said he couldn't stop or couldn't go, and indeed he was telling the truth.
Well, the one thing I did notice, Earnhardt went a lap down just then to Tony Stewart.
We're going to take one final break and then go commercial free the rest of the way. Boy, does that ever tell the story.
Rhonda Drury started working at Jiffy Lube 6 years ago. Today, she's a regional manager. She'll tell you that signature service is more than just an oil change. Wherever you live, you'll find experienced people just like Rhonda at your neighborhood Jiffy Lube. Jiffy Lube Signature Service Oil Change. Our name is on the line, and we offer Pennzoil.
Maybe these'll help.
Sunglasses?
Like the ones Jim West wears in that new Wild Wild West movie.
Now at Burger King, you can get your own pair of Wild Wild West sunglasses from the new action-packed movie for just $1.99 with any tasty Western Whopper value meal.
Who's Jim West? I don't know. What's a movie?
When you have it your way, it just tastes better.
Left turn signal. Right turn signal. Headlights. All right, move it out.
It's 2 nights of World of Outlaws Racing on TNN. We are back. 2.9 seconds is the lead that Tony Stewart enjoys. But as the crew chiefs have been telling us, they need to stop. Here on lap 287 comes Terry Labonte in. Jeff Gordon has stopped. Wally Dallenbach, Ricky Craven. Here comes Dale Jarrett. He is going to stop. Rich Bickle has stopped. Ward Burton has been in.
Stop on that board.
And the fuel light came on Dale Jarrett's car just a lap ago, and they decided that they had to stop. 1, 2, 3 seconds. They wouldn't take the chance that they took last week. Louis stalls the car. The car has stopped running at the end of pit road. Now it picks up, and DJ is on the way, but he lost about an extra 8 to 10 seconds there.
Got about 5 cars.
Bobby Hamilton is stopped off the pit lane, and he cannot refire. The crew pushes him off. Jeff Burton is in. Mayfield is in. All of these stops. Here comes Mark Martin, Steve. Now, he was checking on a story there as they push the Mark Martin car away. Now, remember, the 7 of Michael Waltrip did stop earlier, among others. Tony Stewart, though, they're trying to conserve fuel. Ralph, what's Zippy saying now?
He's saying back way, way off, Eli. They're keeping an eye on all these cars that were right behind them in the top 5. Now that they have all dove down pit road, they know with just 10 laps to go, if Tony could just ease even farther out of that throttle. Remember, he said they were 1 lap shy. Maybe, just maybe, they can find 1 more mile worth of fuel.
Now, the 20 is not stopped, nor has the 43 of Andretti.
You can see the 24 there, Jeff Gordon. Now, he did stop, got a splash of fuel, and he's going to go by Tony Stewart. And just as they were talking about in the pits, you can see he is way off the pace right now as Jeff Gordon starts by.
That's not for the lead, obviously, folks. Remember, when Gordon stopped, he lost a lap, so he now unlaps himself. He is on the tail end of the lead lap with that move right there. Gordon running on the tail end of the lead lap in 7th. The whole running order having been jumbled by some stopping and others not.
So if you want to know how you save fuel, you just saw it. There's Gordon at full song right now with gas enough to make it to the end. Tony Stewart stretching his mileage by backing off the throttle and easing around the racetrack.
Right now you've got Tony Stewart leading, John Andretti second, then Jeff Burton, Kenny Wallace, and Bill Elliott. Jarrett is 6th, Gordon is 7th, Martin is 8th, with Earnhardt and Dallenbach 9th and 10th. Now, what does 1st to 2nd look like? There goes Stewart. Then you're all the way back to Andretti. 16 seconds back. There's the King's driver right there. So if Stewart can make it on fuel, this one is nolo contendere, no contest. But can he make it?
Yeah, he can absolutely afford to back off some because John Andretti is so far back, but still, he does not know for sure if he's got enough.
At the other luxury you have spotters on top of the grandstand that tell Tony Stewart, you're a half a lap ahead of the guy that's running second or 3/4 of a lap. I'll let you know when you need to start worrying about him. So you can ease off, and they'll say, okay, he's not gaining on you. He's trying to make it to the end also.
Well, his teammate, Bobby Labonte, has had great success stretching fuel. The engines come out of the same shop. Will it work here today for Tony Stewart?
And what an elite group of names he could join. Names like Davey Allison, Ron Bouchard, Morgan Shepherd, Dale Earnhardt, Earl Ross, and Shorty Rollins all winning as NASCAR Winston Cup rookies. It's eaten up Joe Gibbs. He said, man, I'd rather be coaching the Super Bowl.
I watched him on the sidelines when he was with the Redskins. He didn't look any more nervous at the Super Bowl than he does at this moment. He wants Tony Stewart to get his first victory.
There's Andretti, still running in second. Now compare Joe Gibbs to that. Compare Joe Gibbs to that guy. Richard Petty says, been there, done that, gotten those wins for both himself and for his drivers. The lead is now 17 seconds. But does the fuel hold out?
Well, they're discussing that right now. As you see him, he's letting some lap cars go by. He's back way, way off the throttle. 3 to go, though.
So the leader, Stewart. Here comes Andretti. He's coming in.
He's in trouble.
He's in trouble. Stewart has run out of fuel. Stewart has run out of fuel. And Andretti is on the pit lane. Stewart has run out of fuel, and Andretti is on the pit lane. Jeff Burton could be in position to win here at New Hampshire International Speedway from starting in 38th. Stewart is going to run out of fuel at lap 297, along with John Andretti. Dr. Lewis's crew getting him going.
And the bad part, Tony Stewart was rocking it back and forth. He got all the fuel out there. They'll have to prime this car to get it restarted.
The same with Skinner. He has to get pushed off.
Still can't get John Andretti's car going, pouring the ether in. Now they're trying to get Stewart pushed off. There's your leader. Wow, what a deal.
Tony Stewart is starting to move away. They finally got it refired. They picked up the fuel.
What a remarkable story. Starting in 38th spot. And remember, folks, what Glenn Jarrett told you in the pre-race, that when Burton starts 14th or further back, his average finish is 4th. Kim can't believe it. White flag for Jeff Burton. It would be his 3rd straight win in the Jiffy Lube 300. Kenny Wallace is now running in the 2nd spot. Jarrett is 3rd. Gordon is 4th. Elliott, who is a lap down early, is 5th. It'll be the 4th win of the year for the Exide Ford.
Eli can bump it out of gear now and win.
Jeff Burton wins at New Hampshire. Kenny Wallace comes home 2nd. Gordon and Jarrett close at the line. Gordon will get 3rd. Jarrett will come home in the 4th spot. Kenny Wallace, best in his NASCAR Winston Cup career. He came home 2nd. Steve Burns, remarkable.
It really is, Eli. Frank Stoddard, this is your home track, but more importantly, you guys started 38th and fought all day long.
It don't get any sweeter than that, you know. What a job by Jeff Burton. People are going to give me the devil because I never expected to win this race today. Not in a million years. We changed 2 springs, 2 shocks, sway bar, wedge. I mean, you name it, it was changed last night. Jeff and I sat down and talked, and, you know, we just got complacent yesterday morning and yesterday afternoon, and we didn't make enough changes to our race car. And, you know, hell, I'm happier about this one than any of the ones I've had here because I didn't expect to win this one. And, you know, the couple of them guys had problems, and you know, they handed it to us there at the end. 20 thought it was going to try to go 105, and Jack told me we couldn't do it, and Stephanie and all the guys, and, you know, great pit stops, great strategy all day. But Jeff Burton, can you say anything more than 38th to the win, 3 in a row at New Hampshire?
Congratulations.
Unbelievable. Watch it again, folks. We saw it once. This is what happened at the finish with Gordon and Jarrett. This is for 3rd. Gordon gets the position, but Jarrett still leads the points. A top 5 for Bill Elliott. Major stories. We'll recap them when we come back.
Good morning, Mr. Clark.
Morning, Tommy. Coverage from the New Hampshire International Speedway has been brought to you by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. And by UAW GM. Assembly line to finish line. Teamwork wins. Jeff Burton led once for 2 laps. Glenn, that's all it takes.
Yes, it was the right to. I couldn't talk, Eli. I've got another Coca-Cola bath. I'm telling you, I'm getting good at this. Come on down here, Jeff Burton. The furthest back anybody in NASCAR has won since 1988 from 38th place. I talked about it early. You did it again, man.
Well, this one's for Roz. Roz is an employee at Exide that was a big supporter of this racing program, and she passed away this week. And just incredible win. You know, I almost feel bad for the 20 car. They definitely had the best car today, and we just did what we needed to do. You know, if they could beat us on that much fuel, they could just beat us. Jack Roush is really good at making fuel mileage, and we just had to stick to our game and not worried about it. You know, we came a long way this weekend. We unloaded and we were way off. We didn't have bad laps when we qualified. We just didn't run fast. And Frank Stoddard and this whole team did a hell of a job getting this Exide Ford to even be in contention to win the race. And I'm real proud of them.
Well, he did come a long way. Steve Burns?
Thanks, Glenn. With Mark Martin. Mark, I think I speak for race fans everywhere. Gutsy performance. Knee surgery, fractured wrist, banged up ribs. Gutsy performance.
You know, I want to thank all the race fans for their support. I've said all along that it's more important the effort, not the result. And then I got all disappointed with the result, like it was not a good effort at Daytona. It was a great effort this weekend for the Valvoline Cummins race team. All these guys have really stood behind me, and the fans and everybody else. We gave an A+ effort. We got a B result. You know, I'm a little bit angry that we lost 2 spots at the end based on fuel. But, you know, we did get a top 10, and we overcame a lot. Sorry qualifying effort by me, and spin and a tangle in another accident. Be able to come back and have a halfway contending car was pretty good.
All right, he's a racer, Eli.
Quite a day for Mark Martin. Jeff Burton gets the win. Career best second-place finish for Kenny Wallace. Big thank you to Buddy Baker and Dr. Dick Bergman, Glenn Jarrett, along with Ralph Shaheen and Steve Burns on the pit lane and in the garage. I'm Eli Gold. Hope you enjoyed. Jeff Burton's a winner in New Hampshire.